Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Good evening and welcome inside North Bay Memorial Gardens for OHL action as the surging Barrie Colts are in town to take on the host North Bay Battalion. My name is Derek Lindemann and I'm pleased to bring you Battalion Hockey on the Frontline broadcast. The pregame show proudly sponsored by...
The pregame show is brought to you by La Huerta Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit lahuertaimports.com for more details.
These two teams met less than 24 hours ago as the Barrie Colts came away with a victory in that game last night by a final score of 6-3. Things got a little physical, and we're looking to see if maybe something gets carried over into the rematch today. It's only been less than 24 hours, and we'll wait and see what happens. And I want to bring in our producer now, Ben Long. Welcome, Ben, and always a pleasure to hear your side of the story. Two teams met 24 hours ago, less than 24 hours ago. Rematch here. Can things stay as heated as they got last night?
I think they're going to start off that way right off the hop with having such a recent game, less than a day ago. And they see each other so much throughout the year anyway. There's just a natural rivalry of being the Highway 11 contemporaries.
Yeah, these teams have already met 3 times this year, with the Battalion winning the first 2 before losing the most recent one. That was the 6-3 victory last night in Barrie. The big news out of that game was the Declan McDonald head contact penalty where he blindsided Josh Bloom. He is out of tonight's lineup. Still has no word on how long that suspension is going to be. The OHL usually doesn't announce suspensions till Monday when they get back into the office. Justin Earl came to the defense of his teammate Josh Bloom, and that was the first of 3 fisticuffs in last night's game.
Yeah, it definitely got heated, and I when you have one thing like that happen, it just opens up the floodgates a lot of times, unless the refs are right on top of it and keep things under control. And although I wasn't there last night, I don't believe that's what happened.
No, and then word is at the end of the game, Ronik Joldoin picked up a cross-checking penalty at the 20-minute mark of the third period, and that brought Jacob Therrien to to stand up his ground, and they dropped the mitts. And the Barrie Colts stayed on the ice quite a long time after the game, protesting and really arguing with the refs that that's not the way the game should have ended. And they were looking for a lot more for the North Bay Battalion Tarian coming into tonight's game.
Yeah, so I mean, with all the history of the last 24 hours, I can't see it being anything but a high-energy affair tonight right off the hop. I think the other side of the big story is North Bay is missing 4 prominent players right now.
Yeah, still out of the lineup. We know defenseman Avery Winslow and Tanias Mathern. Mathern still long time, and Kyle McDonald, and recently acquired Pascali Zito will not be in the lineup tonight. So those are 4 key players still out for the North Bay Battalion. Hearing word that maybe Winslow and McDonald might be back early in the new year.
That would be nice to see for the battalion. We've over the last couple of years, we've seen our fair share of injury issues. So to see a couple of those guys come back and get back in the lineup, get some legs under them before we head towards playoff time will definitely be a positive sign.
And the other player that I forgot to mention that's still out is Bruskowski, who was just recently acquired from the Sioux Greyhounds. He suffered another head injury, so he was out for quite a long time after a scary incident back on October 30th, in which saw him miss the whole month of November. So that's really 5 key players right there for the North Bay Battalion. But the Barrie Colts are still without a few players. Also, they're alongside the captain, Declan McDonald. They're also missing Brian Clark, who is away at the World Juniors. He's been signed by the LA Kings, so it's hit and miss whether or not he is actually going to be back for the Barrie Colts this year. And Arthur Cholak, one of the leaders for the Barrie Colts last year, is they got a very similar lineup to what we saw last year, and they finished near the top of the division, in which North Bay was the eventual winner.
Yeah, and what we do see now even with the 4 players out, North Bay has a very deep lineup. So they're still a competitive team that they're putting on the ice, but it'll be scary once we get back to, because we haven't seen all the new acquisitions with all the healthy players around. Acquisitions start being made as players were already injured.
Exactly, and it's wait to see exactly if the battalion are finished wheeling and dealing, as today will be the first of the trade freeze for the World Juniors. You talk about depth. A lot of that depth we're going to get a chance to relook at, as now let's direct our attention to our players to watch, as brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Our players to watch tonight for the Barrie Colts, Bo Gelsma. He is currently the center of the second line for the Barrie Colts, a 2004 birth from Brownsville, Ontario. He's looking to capitalize on a great rookie season last year that saw him have 47 points, 27 of those were goals, and he already comes in with 12 goals, 12 assists, 24 points on the season. He's trying to raise his stock and become one of those players that gets drafted again this year. And turning to the North Bay Battalion, another 04 berth in depth, Owen Van Steensel out of Ilderton, Ontario. Again, looking to build on that rookie campaign he had last year that saw him net 10 goals to go along with 24 assists. And this year he's already had a hot start, 6 goals, 7 assists through the first 31 games of the season, 13 points. One of those players that head coach Ryan Ullhan likes to count in and day out. He's alongside Arnsby and Romani in tonight's lineup, something that Ullhan likes to call the identity line here for the battalion.
Yeah, even by the end of last year, which was Van Steensel's rookie season, he was being slotted into penalty kills. He's being put out there at important times. He's someone that the coach really relies on. So even though his numbers may not be as hot as Gelsma, he plays a giant role on this team.
Yeah, both of those characters, 04 births. I know there's been a lot of interest for both of these players for teams such as Saginaw, Niagara that are looking to build next year, that those teams are trying to pry away from teams such as North Bay and Barrie, teams that are really going for it this year. We know North Bay is basically all in, and the chips are already on the table. Adam Dennis has already put out his cards out there, and it's to see whether or not people are going to counteract. And really, is there one more deal out there for the North Bay Battalion?
I would be very surprised to see Van Steensel involved in any of those deals, just because he'll likely be around the OHL for another couple years. He's heavily relied on. When we have a lot of exiting players or potentially exiting players at the end of this season, having an important player that you rely on that's going to be around for another year or two is important for North Bay as a continuing team, not just being all in for this year, although he'll play an important role throughout the rest of this season as well.
Exactly. But being that 04, that's what the teams are looking for. And I know Adam Dennis is getting calls about him. From my point of view, I totally agree that he's that depth player that you need to keep around. And he's going to be one of the leadership group for this North Bay Battalion team to come in the next couple of years.
Yeah. So, and that's where I think it would take an awful lot to pull him away from the team. There's a few names that I've heard passed around that might be on the trading block after the World Juniors that maybe might be worth pulling the trigger on him, but it would take a marquee name and maybe draft picks even to get him away from the battalion, I think.
Exactly, and I totally agree. One of the stories this week, though, we can't do without talking about is the passing of 18-year-old Abakar Kazbekov from the London Knights, something that drew a lot of attention. 4 games were postponed because of that last night, Ben. A very unfortunate event.
Yeah, it's just a whole tragic scenario there. I don't know more than has really been put out by the OHL. I've heard some other things passed around about the situation. Just a really tragic thing, and I think it underscores something that we've talked a whole lot about. It's about mental health involving these players. These are teenagers. These are kids still. A lot of times still high school students that have, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people in the building watching them and, cheering or booing, or there's a lot of pressure on them, especially with, scouts coming around and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's really important that the game takes note of these when these things happen and make sure we have situations in place to prevent future tragedies from happening.
Yeah, because Beskov came over to play minor hockey here in his younger years. As a 14-year-old, he attended Everest Hockey Academy that is run out of Vaughan by North Bay Battalion assistant coach John Winstanley. He was an excellent player there for the Vaughan Kings. Unfortunately, he wasn't available in his 16-year-old age for the OHL priority selection, but the London Knights made him the first overall pick in the 2021 U18 draft, and that's just unfortunate. His passing most recently, it's hard when you come over, like you said, all that stress, coming over to Canada as a 14, 13-year-old, trying to make it better for both yourself and your family, trying to raise a stock. I know we talked about Nikita Tarasevich, who also came over at a young age to play here in Canada, and it's just unfortunate how this came to a light, and that's something that we have to remember is how important mental health is here, and to have not only your teammates, but a good supporting cast around yourself, especially if you can confront the health issues.
Yeah, and I think one positive thing that we see in North Bay, and I don't know if it was intentional or just kind of a side effect of the way the team was built, but like last year they had a whole line of players who could speak Russian. And that, there's a lot of isolation that can happen where you're in a new country with new people in a language that you don't particularly understand very well. It can be very hard for a lot of those players especially. I think it's a nice thing in North Bay to see that there's a core of guys that can kind of, even if they're, the team seems to accept everyone and seem to be all tight together. But there's not that level of language barrier. There's always someone they can talk to.
Exactly. Let's turn back to tonight's game and quickly look at the starting goaltenders for tonight's contest. Getting the start for the Barrie Colts, Ben West. He comes in with a 6-3-2 record, a .390 goals against average, and an .891 save percentage. He was not in nets for the Colts last night in that victory, but he will get to start tonight up here in North Bay.
Yeah, and his numbers aren't fantastic, but when I've seen him play, he's been a pretty solid goalie, so I think North Bay is going to try and take advantage of those numbers as best they can and maybe equal up this home-and-home trip that they've had.
And that's what North Bay wants to do, is equalize this home-and-home, as currently they are the Central Division leading team. And they're going to start again tonight for the third time in 4 nights. Dom DiVincentis, he comes in with a leading 16-5 record. League best 259 goals against average and a .902 save percentage. He's one of the elite goaltenders this year in the OHL.
Yeah, and I think he's, I don't know if we're going to see him back again next year. I would hope that we do, just for selfish North Bay's sake. But he could end up playing in Manitoba somewhere for the Moose or...
No, unfortunately, he's in that age restriction. He won't be 20 next year. So he definitely will have to come back if he's not with the Jets. So
okay.
So the future's bright in goal for the North Bay Battalion, who currently sit atop of the Central Division. They've got 43 points through their first 31 games. Currently 8 points ahead of the Barrie Colts, but they played 2 more games than the Colts.
Yeah, so getting these 2 points is important for them to keep that lead then. If they, because it's a 4-point swing on tonight, depending on who wins, right? So they want to make sure that they're keeping their lead there.
Exactly. Well, we're all set up here in the booth for tonight's OHL action. On the other side, Courtney Kenny will join us and bring you all of the Battalion hockey on the Frontline broadcast.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
welcome back inside North Bay Memorial Gardens for OHL action as the Barrie Colts are in town to take on the Central Division leading North Bay Battalion. These two teams met less than 24 hours ago as the Barrie Colts won on home ice by a score of 6-3. Let's welcome in Courtney Kenny for all of your play-by-play action for tonight's game. I'll stay on alongside them for your color. Courtney, an interesting matchup as this is the conclusion of a home-and-home weekend.
Yeah, and this could be a very big weekend for the Barrie Colts in terms of standings. I mean, coming into yesterday's game, the Battalion had more than a 10-point lead on them in the division. Now I believe as of right now, they only have an 8-point lead. So this could turn into a 6-point lead pretty quick. So it's a big game for the Battalion. It's a big game for the Colts. It's a big game. It's something that we don't usually say until later on in the year, but this game will have big implications moving forward on the Central Division and how things look. Do I think the Battalion have more talent than the Colts? I probably do. Do the Battalion deserve to be leading the division? Yes, but you can't take your foot off the gas pedal. And the nice thing about these games, too, I've said it in almost every game that we've done with the Colts, this is almost more of a rivalry game than those Sudbury Wolves games.
Exactly, and last night the shots were totally in favor of the North Bay Battalion. They outshot the Barrie Colts 45-24, but they ran into a hot goaltender and weren't really able to solve the goaltending issue put out by Arson Thornton.
Well, Ben West is the starter tonight for the Colts. That's really the only big change. Declan McDonald not in the lineup, but we are underway here in the first period between these two teams. The Colts in their road blues are going left to right. The Battalion in their home whites are going right to left. And it's quickly down into the Battalion zone. No icing coming for that as Nelson and Hislop chased after it. But it will be Wiggle who comes away with it. Puck tries to be knocked out for Matthews. Matthews can't get a hold of it. Now Ertl and Bloom are sprung. Ertl carries it into the Colts zone. Goes cross ice for Nelson. It's off his body and into the corner. Nelson tries to throw it out front. He takes Punnett down to the ice. And now he sends the puck back to Hislop at the point, and Hislop sends it right back behind West's net. Bloom rims it back around. Jackson picks it up near the point. Back behind to Bloom. Nelson now at the point with it. Does it back to Bloom, looking for a shot, but he can't get one to go. Jackson back to the point for Nelson. He fakes slap shot. He just takes a wrist shot. It goes wide of the net. Back to the point. Hislop keeps it in just barely. And now Ertl sends it back in deeper. Ertl. Battalion all over the Colts early, takes a shot just wide of West's net. Lucan comes in off a change, takes him, gets knocked down to the ice. Pundit takes him down. The Powassan native started this game looking rather angry, taking on Ty Nelson and Alex Lucan. Puck knocked into DiVincentis' net, who just gloves it down and knocks it away. Colts now going the other way as that's Frasca, who tries to knock it in the neutral zone, and he does. Van Steensel picks up the loose puck, though, and nearly overskates it. Van Steensel dumps it in right on West's net. He just leaves it for his defenseman to pick up. That's Atchison. Boakey now with the puck. Loses it. Romani with a nice little one-touch pass. Leaves it for Christopoulos, who takes the shot. Puck is off the stick of West and into the corner. Just over 2 minutes of play here gone in the first period. The Battalion controlling most of the action in the Colts zone. And a nice little outlet pass there by Wakely for Romani would have left him all alone, but it was just out of his reach. And coming in for support is Nelson. Nelson just dumps it back around behind the net. Petrov goes after the puck and sends it right back to where it came as Nelson has to pick it up on the near side half wall. Wakely trying to walk out front, can't get it to go. Looks cross ice, gets it to Tarasevich. Sent back in. Wakely behind the net to Tarasevich. Leaves it for Wakely. Wakely tries to pick it up. He's taken off the puck by Jelsma. And now the puck comes out to West net. And he's just going to freeze that for a whistle. And just under 3 minutes gone here in the first period.
Really like the start to the North Bay Battalion game. And the keys to victory tonight for the North Bay Battalion is that. Get offensive zone possession, Play your own game. Don't get chasing around the Barrie Colts and caught up in that physical game. Ben West only has 14 goals or games played under his belt. I want to see pucks get to the net and cause havoc for West. He's a goaltender that gives up lots of goals. He's given up almost 4 goals a game, and the Battalion can capitalize that. I want to see them get to the net and get there often.
Romani back to Christopoulos at the point. Christopoulos takes a shot. It's blocked, and the Colts get the puck out. Further to your point, West has played one of those games against the Battalion, only getting into 46 minutes. Not a great save percentage at 84.6, and his goals against average in that game, 5.14. So interesting to see him back in net here against the Troops. As Romani tries to throw it out front for Van Steensel, can't get it to go. And now Ethan Cardwell looks up ice. Colts coming in on DiVincentis. Their centering pass can't go anywhere as Arnsby thwarts that. Van Steensel now up the ice with Christopoulos. Puck knocked off his stick, so it's going to go for offside. Procession looking to go in, couldn't hold on to the puck. Good thing he didn't, or else it would have been an offside with Christopoulos still in the zone. Cardwell stops up at center ice. Brings it back towards his zone. Looks cross ice, Punnett. He gives it right back to Cardwell. Cardwell with some speed into the Battalion zone, dumps it in. Procession tries to just jam it up against the boards, but he puts it back behind the net for Hislop. Now off to Procession. And Terrian tried to go after it, but couldn't get to it. Bouchard, someone out there right now we haven't seen too much of this year for the Battalion as well.
Back in the lineup in the absence of Pasquale Zito, missing his second consecutive game.
Kennedy, his pass out, couldn't get past Lowe. And now the Battalion get it into the Colts zone. Ertl sends the pass back to Turley at the point. Turley goes cross ice for Nelson. Nelson takes the shot well wide off the kick plate. Turley pinches in, keeps it in. Ertl now out front to Jackson. Jackson rolls the puck on that net. West turns that one away, and then a nice little pass from Ertl behind the back, tries to get it out front. The Punnett was there to stop that one. Wiggle and Ertl, the two number 9s, collide behind the net. Or rather, that was Tiller. One number off, number 8. And we're going to get an icing call here against the Colts, so the faceoff's going to come down in the Colts zone. Just under 5 minutes played. Sorry, Derek.
Dom DiVincentis is looking to have a bounce-back game after giving up 5 goals last night on only 23 shots. That's numbers that he's not going to be happy with as he comes in with one of the best goal save percentages right now, 902, and definitely the best goals against average of 259.
Quick, friendly fire shot on West's net results in another stoppage here. Then Wakely and Connor Punnett have a few words after the whistle with some shoving.
Connor Punnett, the Calendar, Ontario native, being rewarded with getting an A on his jersey since this is his overage year. He's picked up his really physical game, something that he's been known for throughout his minor league hockey, which he played not only here but also down south for the North Central Predators.
Kind of wild to think, Connor Punnett, overager.
I know. He's just a couple of years old, or younger than my son, and got the chance to play golf with him a couple of times throughout this summer, especially on men's night, and he's a guy that you think Dallin Wakely can smoke a ball. You should see Punnett hit it. Anytime he's out there, you can count on him to send one out there 300 yards, no problem. It's nice to see the game clock back in action tonight, something we were without Thursday night. So we're going to be able to keep an eye on the time at least and the shots on goal. It was a little difficult Thursday night that saw the North Bay Battalion in their new third jerseys come out with a 7-3 victory over the Mississauga Steelheads.
Yeah, rumor has it they didn't check the power bar it was plugged into to see if that was turned on. Turned on here today. Hislop sends the puck back in. A tip in front, just sends it wide out front to Wakely. He tries to get a quick shot away. Can't get it to go. Puck now back out to the point for Hislop. Hislop on the near side wall, just sends it back in deep. Tarasevich battling for it behind the net with Wakely. Wakely comes away with it. Takes a big whack on his stick. No call coming, however. And now Tarasevich trying to throw his body weight around. Back to the blue line. The Colts go up on a makeshift 3-on-1, but Wakely's back real quick. And a tip and attempt just goes over the net. Hislop taking his man into the boards. That is Wiggle. Hislop looking up ice. Leaves it back for his defense partner Nelson, who gets it up to Ertl, and he knocks it in. Well, the other way, the Colts just flip the puck back up to the neutral zone. Lucan's there. Passes it up to Bloom, who quickly gives it back to Nelson. Nelson looking up ice, tries to find Jackson. Jackson with a bit of a step, and he can't get it, so he passes it back to Bloom. And Bloom with a bit of a fan shot attempt. It's the pad of West. Another shot attempt comes in. The Colts blocked that one down. That was Lemieux. And Kavanaugh getting a hold of that one. Bloom now looks cross ice. Nice little pass to Ertl. Leaves it up for Jackson. Looks out front for Bloom again. Bloom sends it in. Can't get it to go. Ertl now. Looks out front. Gets out to Christopoulos. Christopoulos at the point. Looks to take the shot. He does. And oh my goodness, Ertl had the rebound. He tried to get around West and just send it wide. Puck now back out to the neutral zone. Christopoulos tries to carry it in, but Jackson, this line buzzing this shift, sends it in on net. And West knocks that one down with his glove, so another stoppage in play here. Shots now 7-1 in favor of the Troops.
Couple good opportunities. That line of Jackson, Bloom, and Ertl getting there. One thing I want to see, though, is Kyle Jackson stopping up at the net in front of Ben West and not turning into the corner. He could have stopped up there, used himself as a screen for Josh Bloom. The rebound was there, and that's something that a good coach would want, is his player stopping there at the top of the blue paint. The rebound would have been there for Jackson.
Rebound would have been there for sure. Would have been a nice shot attempt for sure. Ertl with a good chance too. Puck now cross ice. Hislop picks it up in the Battalion zone. And if you watched that game last night against Barrie, in the third period, it was all Battalion. And so far through the first 8 minutes here in the first period, it's been all Battalion again. Just whether or not they can solve the goaltending of the Colts. Van Steensel sends that one deep in on West. West quickly gets it out to Arnsby. Arnsby tries to find Van Steensel, and West was there to stop that one as he just got back into his net. Cardwell stop things up at the blue line. Carries it into the Battalion zone. Good stick there by Nelson, keeps him from getting any farther. And the puck's back down to the Colts zone as Akey chases after it. Bo Akey, one of two Bows on this team. Akey and Jelsma.
No Akey jokes tonight.
Wow.
From you there.
That's if the Battalion have their way with the Colts for sure. Akey sends it back to his defense partner, Aitchison. He's knocked down. Bouchard showing his weight now as the puck comes back out to the neutral zone. Turley tries to chip it back in. Jodwin gets it by him. Nice little backhanded pass, goes nowhere though, and Turley picks it up. Turley looking for Terrian, can't get it, and that icing is waved off. Even though the Colts were the first ones down to it. Kennedy quickly up ice to Wakely. Wakely with some space, carries it in, takes a shot. West couldn't get the glove on it, but he was able to knock it aside. Back out to the neutral zone. Kennedy, no look pass to Lucan. Back into Petrov as Kennedy and Beaudoin knock into it. What's with all the Bows? Last names, first names? Oh my goodness, it's like they have a type in Barrie. Beaudoin took the brunt of a hit from Kennedy, and now Wakely back at the point, looks cross ice for Kennedy, and Kennedy sends it into the neutral, or into the slot area, can't get a shot to go. Tarasevich gets it in for Petrov. He leaves it for Wakely. Petrov behind the net, skates out front, gets back to the point. Hislop goes cross ice to Lucan. Lucan sends it in for Tarasevich, then pinches in. Tarasevich, though, as Lucan gets back to the point, leaves it for Tarasevich. Lucan looking cross ice for Tarasevich. Now Tarasevich is just battling for the puck on the far side corner. Quickly out front to Petrov. And a one-time attempt there from Petrov is stopped by West.
West with a quick look behind him, making sure it stays out as we reach the media timeout here. It's the Colts 0, the Battalion 0.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
What a great start here in the first just over 10 minutes of play here at Memorial Gardens, as neither team really has yet to solve either goaltender, but the Battalion creating much of the offense as they've been, I'd say, 75% of the time in the Barrie Colts zone. 12 shots fired towards the goal, but Ben West looking like he's starting to settle in net for the Barrie Colts tonight. Courtney, if you're the Battalion, how happy are you with that first 10 minutes and 13 seconds?
Well, the only way that you'd be happier is if you came out with a couple of goals. And there was a few chances where they almost did. But Ben West doing his job to keep things out of the net. And I think the Battalion are going to be very happy. On the other side, I think the Barrie Colts have just got a bit of a tune-up there during the media timeout.
I think so. Marty Williamson, the head coach of the Barrie Colts, also carries the tag of general manager. One of the few that still has the dual role in the OHL. We'll talk more about him momentarily.
Punt it to Frasca. Frasca sends it up and into the neutral zone as Hislop picks it up. Hislop to Nelson. Nelson waits for his team to get ready as Jackson picks up the neutral zone, leaves it for Ertl. Ertl tries to get a move around Jelsma and sends it around to the point, and Nelson just sends it right back in for Ertl. Ertl with some space, tries to get it out front for Bloom, comes away with it anyways. Gets it back to Hislop though. Over to Nelson. Nelson looking for shot. He does take a shot, it's off the post. Nelson beat West from the point, but couldn't beat the post. And now Frasca goes up ice, and a quick shot attempt on DiVincentis, shot number 2, and now we're going to have a penalty coming up to the Troops, as there was 2 quick shots on DiVincentis in succession, and he turns those ones aside. But again, as we mentioned, our first penalty going to the Troops in this one. It'll be Braden Hislop. Looks like he's going for 4.
4 minute double minor for high sticking, as that's Braden Hislop serving the first offense in tonight's games, as the officials are Pat Myers and Andrew Wilmetz. The linesmen tonight are Darren Long and Brian Burkhoff. The Barrie Colts come in with the 4th overall ranked power play. They've been scoring on an average of 25%, so a quarter of the time they've scored 26 goals on their 104 opportunities, and they're going to get a great opportunity with 9 minutes left to get first on the scoreboard.
And that first goal is so important. The Battalion are 14-0-1 when they score the first goal, but 7-9 when they don't, including last night. Yeah, the puck back to the point for Lemieux. Lemieux brings it to Cardwell, who plays pitch and catch and gives it back to Lemieux. Cross ice to Jodwin. Lemieux to Cardwell. In deep now. It's going to be Beaudoin to Cardwell. Back to Lemieux, who decides to take a shot. It's off the skate of Van Steensel and goes wide. Jodwin now battling with Arnsby and Christopoulos. He somehow gets out of it as Matthews and Beaudoin come in to fight. Jodwin, Beaudoin.
Scary when you get 3 of your defenders down below that goal line area.
Yeah. The only one who wasn't was Lucan. Lemieux back to Cardwell. Gets it in deep to Beaudoin. And now it's back to Lemieux again. Tried to get a shot away, but they couldn't. Lemieux at the point. 3 minutes left on this man advantage. Cardwell walks the line. Changes spots with Lemieux. Lemieux tries to take a quick shot. It's off Arnsby's stick and wide of the net. Lucan battling for the puck now. Arnsby comes in. He just ties it up against the boards. Arnsby battling in the near side corner with it now. Lots of shoving, lots of trying to shovel at it with the sticks. And Matthews is going to be who comes away with it to Lemieux. Lemieux alone in the slot takes the shot. It didn't really get to DiVincentis. Now they're trying to get it to him. And then a high stick by the Colts. And it's going to go wide as the Battalion somehow keep the puck out of the net, to a little applause from the Gardens faithful here. And the attempt that the Colts did really get was high sticking and over the net.
Yeah, the first minute 35 all spent inside the Battalion zone. The Battalion doing a great job keeping the passing lanes and the shooting lanes covered up as Dom DeVincent is having to make one big save there at the end of that rush, but the Battalion doing an excellent job so far on this penalty kill.
Nelson in his zone grabs the puck, sends it down the ice, comes in on West's goal. 2:15 now left on the man advantage. The Battalion very close to killing off the first of those two minors. Akey with a touch pass up ice. Tarasevich now comes in, and they're battling for it behind the net. Another 3 Battalion out there. The only one not in front is Wakely, but the puck comes out and they try to shovel it past DeVinchentis, and he just gets a hold of it with another stoppage and play and a couple of rough stuff after the whistle. Minute 56 left on the Hislop penalty. 6:57 left here in the first period.
The first half of that double minor has been killed off. The Battalion come in with the number 1 ranked penalty kill in the OHL. They've killed off 86.5% of the penalties they've taken. They've only given up 18 goals on 133 chances, and that aggressiveness on those loose pucks surely helps out when you can get to those first.
Akey at the point. Sends the puck in. DeVinchentis got a piece of it, and it's into the corner. Christopoulos tries to give it to Nelson to send it down ice. He fans on his clearing attempt. And Arnsby gets to it and sends it down ice again. Minute 40 now left on that man advantage. West leaves it up for Akey. And Akey slowly brings it out of his zone. Gets it up ice to Gelsma, now coming in quickly. The Colts with a good chance. That was off the stick of Bierling. But DeVinchentis turns that one away. Back out to the neutral zone. Akey slows things down. Minute 20 now left. Gives it to Punnett. Punnett goes cross ice to Frasca. Frasca slows things down before sending it in deep. That's for Punnett. Out front to Frasca. Frasca with the shot, and DeVinchentis knocks that one away. Bierling in the far side corner. Gives it to Frasca. Punnett now on the near side wall. Out front. Back to Akey. Bierling. Fake shot, tries to get around Christopoulos, but he can't. Then back to Akey at the point. Then they look over to Punnett for the one-timer, and DeVinchentis kicks that one away. 45 seconds remain on the Hislop penalty, and West plays the puck behind his net.
Shot starting to equal up a little bit more as it's now 13-9 for the Battalion. It's DeVinchentis being that number 1 penalty killer for the Battalion on this big kill.
Comedy of errors, they're getting into the Battalion zone for the Colts as a bunch of bodies fall. Kennedy picks up the loose puck and sends it down the ice. 25 seconds remain on the man advantage. Going down the ice now is Lemieux as they try to get that top unit out, but Kennedy stops things up again and sends it down the ice. The clock went for a couple of seconds past the whistle, so there's about 16 seconds left on the power play, although it says 14 currently. The Battalion might get away with a couple of seconds here. It doesn't look like anyone picked it up.
Exactly. It's hard to sometimes hear the whistles and not really sure if you're not expecting that whistle to be blown as it was just there, as the Battalion are still on the penalty kill for another 14 seconds. The face-off will be deep inside their zone, so the Colts with one last-ditch effort on this double minor penalty to Hislop.
And that 5 seconds now. Come over for Tiller. He knocks it away. Van Steensel gets the loose puck, tries to dump it out. Tiller keeps it in. Jodwin tries to get it off, and now Hislop comes back out, and there'll be no icing, and we're back to 5-on-5. Battalion successfully killing off that 4-minute power play of the Colts, showing why they have the league's best ranked penalty kill. DeVinchentis out to play the puck, sends it up ice. It gets by everybody, but Tiller picks it up in his own zone. Looking up ice, Nelson misses the chance as it's sent into the Battalion zone. Sends it back to Hislop. Hislop gets it quickly up to Petrov, and he leaves it for Jackson. Jackson tries to gain the zone, loses it though. And now the Battalion have the puck once again in their zone. Petrov through the neutral zone. Skates the puck up, looks for some options, takes a shot, rode off of West and into the corner. And the rebound chance came out front, but nobody was there. Jackson picks up the puck, gets it into Romani. And now we're going to get another penalty, it looks like, as going against the Battalion as Petrov's arguing his case. And the fans really don't like that one. Neither does Matvey Petrov.
No, Petrov getting the 2 minutes for slashing. A little bit of a retaliation as he took a high hit. And usually that's the way it happens, is that the officials will catch the retaliation penalty, and it's Petrov going to the box here with just under 4 minutes left as the Battalion just killed off a double minor penalty, and we'll be back on the penalty kill. We'll have to see if that momentum carries over on that last kill.
Akey at the point. Takes a shot. Didn't get tipped, so DiVincentis blocked that one away. Back to the point for Vierling. Tries to look for Punnett. They find Akey. Akey lines up the one-timer, can't get it to go. Van Steensel leaves it for Arnsby. Arnsby tries to find Lucan, but his pass is given away. Punnett now on the near side wall, looks up, tries to get a shot to go, but he can't. And now Van Steensel tries to get out of the corner, and he does. Van Steensel now carrying the puck. Just got it through a couple of Colts. Now he gets around another at the blue line, takes his shot. West gloves that one down, sends it back down to the ice. Minute 15 now left on the Petrov penalty. Van Steensel killing off a lot of time on his own. Nelson comes in to do battle with Punnett, but Punnett just sends it in deep. Akey back at the point. Looks up on the near side wall for Punnett, gives it away to Ertl. And now Bloom and Ertl on a quick little 2-on-1. Bloom comes in, he's going to draw a penalty, takes a shot! And Josh Bloom puts the Battalion up 1-0.
Josh Bloom's 19th of the season. That's his 12th goal since being acquired in the trade with the Saginaw Spirit. That's a short-handed marker here at the 17:05 mark, making it a 1-0 game. Kind of looked like he was getting drawn the penalty, and sometimes when you get that last little ditch effort, you catch the goaltender off guard, and the puck just slides between the legs of Ben West. Great effort there by Josh Bloom, not giving up on that individual effort, going in basically 1-0 against Ben West.
Josh Bloom doing everything and more since coming over from the Saginaw Spirit, making the Battalion look like geniuses for acquiring him and Braden Hislop so early. Cardwell. The Battalion have been busy in the trades ever since. I don't think they're done just yet. Jodwin gets it back to Lemieux as the Colts still have 30 seconds on this man advantage. Cardwell leaves it back for Lemieux. Lemieux to Jodwin. Cross ice. Missed on the shot attempt was Beaudoin. And now the puck goes down the ice and the Battalion kill off some more time. Under 20 seconds now left on the man advantage. Lemieux leaves it up, or gets it up to Cardwell. 10 seconds left now. Just over 2 minutes left in the period as well. And we're going to get back to 5-on-5 hockey here now as Wakely skates the puck into the zone. Leaves it for Nelson. Nelson takes the shot. West doesn't know where it is. And then the Colts Lemieux is able to shove it underneath his pad and get him to cover it up. A minute 53 left now, and the Battalion have killed 2 straight penalties.
The North Bay Battalion, one of the top teams on the special teams. Not only that penalty kill, but they also now have 7 shorthanded goals scored, as Josh Bloom just moments ago putting the Battalion up by a score of 1-0. Something that we thought about when he came over in that trade is how his numbers would look between pre-trade and after trade, and 12 goals and 11 assists, now 23 points. That's 5 more than what he had in the same games that he did for the Saginaw Spirit before he was acquired in that trade.
Nelson upends his man at the blue line. He apparently couldn't keep the puck in, although it was the linesman who made the call back at the red line, saying Nelson didn't keep it in as it went offside. And then he gets run by Jacob Frasca, but he was able to knock him down.
The Bloom goal, getting the only assist on that at the 17:05 mark, was Justin Ertl. 2 players basically in their first year here with the Battalion, as Ertl was originally drafted by the Battalion but served playing NCAA for the Cornell Redmen before coming here to join the Battalion prior to the year.
Looking like a great steal for the Battalion that just kind of fell in their laps. Nelson leaves it for Hislop. Minute 20 left in this first period. Shot comes in on DiVincentis, well wide. Nelson stops things up, then chips it out into the neutral zone. Jackson battling with Cardwell. Cardwell gets possession, but his pass is picked off by Hislop. Hislop carries it in, takes a shot. It goes fluttering over West's net, back to Nelson at the point, who takes a shot, and it was just tipped just wide of the net. Hislop up to Ertl. Ertl looks out front for Bloom. Bloom looking for his second. Can't beat West on that one. Apparently the only way you can is if you have a Barrie Colt draped around your shoulders.
Exactly, and those two have looked really dangerous tonight in this first period. Justin Ertl and Josh Bloom have been around that Barrie Colts net all night long, creating a lot of scoring opportunities, including that one goal by Josh Bloom. But that's a line that you want to come back to time and time again in tonight's game, looking to reintegrate that momentum, and something that Ryan Houlihan used after that timeout at the halfway mark. He came back with that five-man unit of Bloom, Jackson Ertl, along with Hislop and Nelson, and you just pick up that momentum and regain it after that lengthy timeout.
Romani back to the point for Lucan. Lucan sends that one around the perimeter. Grzolya tries to chip it out. And now they do chip it out. 39 seconds left on the clock as Arnsby turns things around in the neutral zone. But the Colts do eventually send it in deep into the Battalion zone. DiVincentis leaves it up for Lucan. Sends it behind the net for Christopoulos. Christopoulos looks up ice. Leaves it for Romani. He's stopped up by Jelsma. However, he doesn't get very far as Arnsby tries to chip it back in before Akey turns things back around. Jelsma to Frasco, looking for Akey. 12 seconds left on the clock. Puck comes back out to the point. Jelsma takes a quick shot. It's blocked by his man in front. Back to the point now. That was Atchison. 2 seconds left. And the Battalion are going to take a 1-0 lead into the first intermission here on a shorthanded goal by Josh Bloom. And it's funny also, before we go to break, you look at the Barrie Colts roster, kind of looks like the Battalion roster a few years ago with the draft picks. There's only 3 of them, whereas the Battalion is just, there's almost too many to count.
Yeah, 9 for the North Bay Battalion, and out of the 3 for the Barrie Colts. None of them are in tonight's game, as both Cholak is out dealing with an injury. Brant Clark is away at the World Juniors, and Arson Thornton, the other being a goaltender, he was in the game last night and is currently serving as the backup to Ben West. But as the first period comes to a conclusion, it is the North Bay leading the Barrie Colts by a score of 1-0 here on the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back inside Memorial Gardens for the first intermission, where after 20 minutes of play, the North Bay Battalion leading their Central Division rival, Barrie Colts, by a score of 1-0. Let's take a look at the scoring summary of the first period. Only one goal, and that came at the 17:05 mark as Josh Bloom picked up his 19th of the year. That was a shorthanded marker. Justin Ertl with the only assist on that goal. Penalties to speak of, only 2 were called, and both of them went against the North Bay Battalion. First at 10:59, Braden Hislop went off for a double minor for high sticking, and then at 16:01, a slashing call went against Matvey Petrov. Shots on goal in the first period in favor of the North Bay Battalion. They're out shooting the Barrie Colts 18-13. The specialty teams all were in favor of the Barrie Colts, taken as they got the only 3 power plays of that first period, 0 for 3 on the man advantage. Face-offs again dominated by the Barrie Colts, winning 11 of the 16 face-offs in that first period. 2 other games to speak of this afternoon in the OHL. The first one through the first period is scoreless as the Kitchener Rangers are in Mississauga to take on the Steelheads. And late in the first period in Kingston, the Ottawa 67s lead the Kingston Frontenacs 2-1. And the other game tonight is the regular Sunday night 6:05 start in the Shaw as the Sudbury Wolves are in Oshawa to take on the host Oshawa Generals. Ben, quite the first period for the North Bay Battalion, dominating basically the entire 14 minutes when they were not in the penalty box.
That was a substantial amount of time, though, Derek.
It was 6 minutes.
6 minutes they were in the box, 4 of those consecutively. Managed to pull a shorthanded goal out of the period even. I imagine this is a different looking, the teams are playing quite differently than they were yesterday.
I think so, and the thing that we need to remember is the North Bay Battalion, they have to stay out of that penalty box. They can't be dragged into taking those penalties, retaliatory penalties that we saw Matvey Petrov take, and think that the officials are going to be calling that initial penalty. Sometimes they will look the other way and see if that retaliatory penalty is, and that's what they caught Petrov for there at the end of the first.
Yeah, and it may be a high hit, but the ref may not see it that way from his angle, but he definitely sees a slash, right? So, I mean, even if it's that or he doesn't catch it, there's all sorts of scenarios where that first thing's not getting called, but the retaliation often does. And there was even a slash back on Petrov after he slashed him. But in a lot of those scenarios, the ref just picks one guy and goes.
Exactly, trying to make everything come to a stop and not knowing what the referees are going to call. And that's something that these players, they're smart blocking players. They're going to keep pushing the envelope until they can see exactly what that consistent line is for the 2 officials.
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely have to be more disciplined. They got lucky coming out of the first period up 1-0, having spent 6 minutes in the box. If they keep that kind of action up, I don't know if they'll be as lucky in the further periods.
Well, we'll talk more about that after, but right now we talk a lot about OHL players getting some looks at getting drafted into the NHL. But now let's take an opportunity and look at one of the players playing with the U15 North Bay Trappers that has an opportunity to be drafted this year into the OHL, and that is Jackson Kern as he gets spotlighted here on Dostar Productions.
Yes. Boys going after the puck. Gets it away. Goes for the shot. Takes it. And Curran was stood tall on that
At
one.
5'10" and 154 pounds, Jackson Curran is a hard-working goaltender for the North Bay U16 AAA Trappers. The 2007 birth year netminder is relied upon heavily by his U16 team on a nightly basis.
I would say I'm a smart, confident, calm, controlled goalie. Probably my rebound control or my ability to play pucks. That's what I'd say is the best part of my game.
The North Bay, Ontario product models his game after a Canadian superstar netminder and a North Bay area NHL goalie prospect.
My favorite goalie is Carey Price, but I try to model my game after Ben Goudreau, one of my best friends. Practice a lot with him in the summer. I like his everything he does.
Curran works hard on and off the ice. He has a reputation of training like a professional, simply trying to get better every day.
I want to follow in Ben's footsteps, and I want to be better than Ben one day, so I try to work as hard or harder than him and what he has done.
Skates around the net, tries to wrap around. He can't get past Curran.
I think for Jackson Curran, what you get is consistency. You get consistency in attitude. You get consistency in terms of his performance on the ice. When I work with Jackson, we talk a lot about the economy of motion and the economy of emotion. And we've worked really hard on his skating. He's made a lot of progression in terms of his skating abilities, and that's really showing up in his play.
Curran's longtime goalie coach believes the young North Bay area goalie has come a long way in his ability to catch a puck and track a puck.
That's fundamental to Jackson, but I think one of Jackson's most outstanding characteristics is his personality, his compete level, his coachability, and what he brings to the dressing room. He will never be a liability in any of those areas. His goalie IQ, I think, has gone up considerably in the last year, and there's still lots of room to evolve that. And as that grows, he's even going to become better.
Curran also pays tribute to a teammate on his goalie mask. Noah Dugas passed away from a stroke in November of 2020, and in the summer of 2021, Curran had his friend's picture painted on his goalie mask.
It means a lot to me. Personally, one of my best friends and someone I miss greatly, and talk to him every game before I go on. Just hope I have a good game.
Curran is hoping OHL scouts will overlook his team's record in the Great North U18 League and view him as a top goalie prospect for the 2023 OHL priority selection.
I've faced a lot of adversity this year since our team is not as good as it was last year. Faced a lot of challenges, ups and downs along the way, but keep pushing through and play the cards as I will. I'm a hard worker, never give up, and love the game.
This has been a Dostar Video Scouting presentation.
And a great job there by one of our familiar people here at the front line. That was Chris Dawson putting together that video for Dostar Video Productions as he showcases Jackson Curran, the leading goaltender for the U16 Trappers. He's done an excellent job there this year so far, and recognizing some of the players that he talked about. Ben Gaudreau, who is from the Corbeil, Ontario, recently named to Team Canada for the World Juniors. Great recognition there by the youngster Jackson Curran.
You know, just speaking of junior hockey and players from the area, we're seeing a real sort of spike, especially in that sort of just south of North Bay area where we have Ben Gaudreau from Corbeil. We have Punnett in this game who's from the municipality of Powassan. We have Chase Thompson playing in the Voodoos, which is not OHL, but it is Junior A still from the municipality of Powassan. I don't know if there's ever been two people from Powassan playing in junior hockey at the same time.
Wow, Powassan's had numerous Powassan Voodoos playing at the same time, if you want to really get that technical. So
Not hometown kids.
Oh, there has been.
I mean, when the Dragons were there, I know they took on a lot of local kids, but an outlaw junior A league, I'm not going to count as part of the conversation.
Also, this just recently announced today by Hockey Canada was the leadership group for our junior team this year. Named captain was Shane Wright, as he is probably going to be returned to the OHL after the World Juniors come to a conclusion. Another OHLer getting recognized is Ethan Del Mastro. He'll be wearing an A on his jersey. One player from the Q is Nathan Gauthier, will be also an assistant captain, and then a pair of assistant captains from the WHL in Dylan Gunter and Logan Stankoven. So great leadership group there for Hockey Canada, hoping that they can lead us to some promised land this year and kind of bring Hockey Canada back into some good faith after what has been really putting in a black mark on junior hockey here in Canada.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if even a successful team can kind of brighten up the dark cloud over Hockey Canada right now, but it would definitely help. And with some of the people that we know are on the team, there's a fair amount of character there as well. And I think that's something that Hockey Canada needs to start focusing on more of, and that's, I know, something North Bay is focused on and has brought some success in the last couple of years, is focusing on character, bringing in the right people, not just the most potentially skilled people.
Exactly, and Hockey Canada also naming a new leadership group that will lead Hockey Canada. I don't have the names right in front of me, but they're trying to change that black cloud and bring brighter days ahead for Hockey Canada. And that's something is that we have to realize what has happened in the past, learn from that, and ensure that those mistakes, those acquisitions never happen again and again and again.
Yeah, and that's a big thing in the hockey world. There's still a lot of steeping in tradition. And so a lot of times these types of organizations take a while to change, and it takes, a Herculean effort to make that first move to start to see the dominoes fall down the road.
Exactly. Getting back to the action here at Memorial Gardens, though, Ben, I just want to get your thoughts on the play of Dom DiVincentis in that first period, especially on the penalty kill.
I mean, what's there to say? He's playing the way that all of us know that he can play. He's just lights out, best penalty killer on the team, keeping the puck, either covering it up or moving it out of dangerous areas. Any rebounds he's had, he's been in position to take care of them as well. He's he's the goalie that we need.
Great bounce back game after the game last night, giving up 5 goals on 23 shots. Well, if the next 2 periods are anything like the first period, we're in for quite an afternoon of hockey here on the Frontline broadcast as the Battalion lead the Barrie Colts by a score of 1-0.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
And welcome back inside Memorial Gardens for second period action here between the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion. Let's welcome back Courtney Kenny. Courtney, that was quite the first period of play, and I really liked the bounce back that Dom DeVincentis showed us in that first 20 minutes.
Yeah, Dom DeVincentis doing his part there on the power plays for Barrie to really kind of help the team out as quickly the Colts come in and take a shot that misses his net. In this period, the Battalion in their home whites are going left to right, and Barrie's going right to left in their road blues. And although the shots coming into this period are 18-13, really the Colts only made it close because of the 6 minutes in power play that they had.
Exactly. Other than that, it probably would have been closer to 18-4.
Quick chance coming in right there. That was Beaudoin, but DeVincentis kicks that one aside. As the Colts quick come out flying here early, but Bloom skates it into the Colts zone, takes a shot. It's just wide of West's net and goes down the length of the ice to the Battalion zone. DeVincentis quickly plays it up ice. Jackson leaves it for Christopoulos. Christopoulos takes the shot. West kicks that one aside. Christopoulos tries to get around at one checker, but couldn't. And then Bloom gets it and gives it back to Ertl, but he misses it. And it's right back down to the Battalion zone. Lukin on the far side looks up ice. His pass is disrupted. Ertl comes back in as a trailer before he loses the puck to Frasca in the Colts zone. Frasca's pass up ice makes it past Petrov, and now he picks it up in his own zone and gets it into the Battalion zone. Petrov takes a hit from Grisolia, and he gets the puck and he sends it cross ice to Wakely. Wakely tries to kick the puck off his skate. He kicks it too far. Grisolia chases Christopoulos, but he quickly gives it back to Petrov, and Petrov skates it through the neutral zone. Petrov takes a shot. It's high and over the West net. Comes back out to Lukin at the point, who sends it back in deep. Tarasevic now tries to find a Battalion player out front, but can't. Now Vierling goes up the ice trying to go through two Battalion defenders before Akey knocks the puck away from him. Comes back out. Aitchison in his own zone. Sends it up ice for Akey. Christopoulos sends the puck down the ice. And it's going to come in. It would have gone for icing, but West plays the puck and covers it up. So we'll get a quick stoppage here. Just over 2 minutes played in the second period.
Really like the way that Paul Christopoulos has kind of refound his offensive game. He's picked up a pair of assists in both the last two games, 2 assists Thursday night and another 2 last night. And it's just, to me, he seems to have found a little bit more comfortable sitting with Alexander Lukin and getting way more involved in the play.
Quick shot from the slot. Turned away by DeVincentis. Shot goes behind the net. It was Ty York who had a golden opportunity there to try and tie the game for the Colts. Hadn't heard much of him in that first period. Nelson looks up ice. His pass too hot for Hislop to handle. And the Colts rebound in their own zone. Lemieux sends the puck down the length of the ice. It's past every Battalion player, and that'll go for icing. 17-15 left in the second period. The Troops lead 1-0.
I brought up Marty Williamson in the first period, the head coach and general manager of the Barrie Colts. He seems to be one of the better minds in the OHL. He has his finger on the pulse of what is going on with not only his team, but around the league. He always has the Barrie Colts near the top of the Central Division and make them one of the teams to beat every year in the playoffs.
Romani picks up the puck in the offensive zone. Looks cross ice. Hislop was open. Now he looks for an option. Instead does a spinorama to get around from York. And he sends the puck back out to the blue line for Romani. Hislop back in for Arnsby. Arnsby looks for a quick turn shot. Gets it up to Van Steensel, who sends it out front to Romani, who tries to chip it past West. West stands tall on that one, and so far he's been the best player for the Barrie Colts this game.
Yeah, Ben West already making 19 saves. He's previously played in only 20 or 14 games coming into tonight. It was curious to see how he would rebound. Last time he was in goal against this North Bay Battalion team, he gave up 4 goals in the loss. And it's just, he's having a bounce back game himself, as him and Dom DeVincentis have been going save to save through the first 24 minutes.
Out front quickly, the Colts had a good opportunity on a give and go there, but they missed the secondary pass. Or else he would have had, it was Grisolia, he would have had a wide open net to shoot at. Grisolia quickly up ice to Jodwin. Roenick Jodwin sends the puck in deep. Turley plays the puck off the boards before Kennedy comes in and squirts it out. Punnett recovers, gives it to Tiller. Tiller goes back to Punnett. Punnett looks to take the shot. It's off the shin pads of Therrien and goes into the corner. Bouchard takes a hard hit from Grisolia, but he regains the puck quickly on the near side half wall. Gets the pass up to Therrien. Therrien tries to get by Punnett, who has almost a foot and a half on him, it looks like.
Big size difference between those two players.
Puck sent down into the Battalion zone, although it hit Wiggle, so no icing. DiVincentis' pass missed Lukin, but it comes out to Ertl. Ertl over to Christopoulos. They give it to Bloom, then back to Ertl as they gain the zone. Ertl tried to get around a Colts player, but couldn't get the puck to cooperate. And now the puck comes around on the near side wall. Ertl looks out front. Tries to get it to go to Lukin. Lukin misses that one as Wiggle knocked that one aside. They get it back to Akey. Akey tries to send something up, but can't. And now Lukin goes behind his net to grab the puck. Matthews sends the pass to no one in particular, so Josh Bloom picks it up off the rebound off the boards and looks up ice. Akey tries to send the puck back down the ice, and he does. That was Grisolia that he got around, but he lost the puck quickly. Now the Battalion have it back down into the Colts zone. Aitchison slows things down behind his net, leaves things back there for Akey, who quickly passes it back to Aitchison. And now Hislop chips the puck off the boards, quickly to Wakely, gives it to Tarasevich. Tarasevich carries it in. His shot just missed West's net. Petrov picks up the rebound off the boards, and then he finds Tarasevich for a good shot attempt, but Tarasevich fanned on the shot. Wakely skates the puck around the zone, takes a shot. It's off Petrov's skate and wide. Hislop pinches in on the far side half wall now. And the puck is lost to the Colts. Aitchison tries to chip the puck out. Tarasevich keeps it on the near side half wall before it squirts out. And now the Colts have the puck through the neutral zone. Chipped in for DiVincentis. DiVincentis leaves the puck for Nelson. Nelson slows things down before he goes through the neutral zone. Gives it to Petrov. Petrov's pass to Christopoulos. Couldn't really handle it, so he just chips the puck back into the Colts zone. Christopoulos keeps it in, sends it back in behind the net. Van Steensel chases after it. Van Steensel on the far side wall, carries it up, looks out front to Christopoulos, and that shot just missed the net. Christopoulos had a golden opportunity there, making a play out of nothing, like you said, on refining his offense. Just seemed to gets a little bit of confidence there, as now York nearly picked up a mistake there by Lukin. Lukin's able to recover, though, and chip the puck away. Vierling now with it. Looks to bring the puck in for the Colts. Colts looking a little bit more lively in this period, but the Battalion has still controlled the pace of play through the first 7 minutes and change. Lukin, procession, gets to Romani. Romani looks up ice now for Van Steensel. Van Steensel coming in with some speed. He's taken off. As Lemieux knocks him off the puck, and it just rolls in on West's crease, and he covers it up.
And one of the things in this second period that really is becoming noticeable is that how the offense is clicking as a unit. When you can make changes in the offensive zone compared to dumping that puck in, you can get a lot more offensive time, something that we're seeing the North Bay Battalion do. They're getting the changes down in the Barrie Colts zone, and the Barrie Colts, they're making their changes. They're sending 5 men off at a time by just dumping the puck in, which is allowing the Battalion more time to set up, get a proper breakout, and getting that zone time in, something the Barrie Colts haven't done here in the second period.
Jackson won the face-off in the Colts zone so well, he won it back to his own zone. And now a pass attempt goes off to Hislop. Hislop loses the puck as he brought it into the Colts zone. So the Colts look for some other options. Jackson goes cross ice to Nelson. Nelson's pass up is tipped off the stick of Bloom. And Tiller just knocks that one around, but he can't get the puck out. Jodwin Gets the puck back to Lowe, who's going to chip the puck off the glass, and he's going to get back down to the Battalion zone. Hislop with a quick pass up through the neutral zone to Jackson. Jackson was lined up for a hit there. He might have just avoided the worst of it, but he still didn't look great taking it. And now going the other way is Hislop and Jodwin. Hislop quickly up ice to Bloom. Bloom skates it in. Looks for some options. Give it to Nelson. Nelson misses the net. Bloom battling to get the puck in deep. Same with Ertl. Bloom might have had a great chance to shoot that puck instead of passing it off to Nelson himself.
I totally agree. Nelson likes to take that shot. He comes into tonight's game leading the OHL in shots with 167 shots taken, 15 more than the next closest player.
Colts now with possession in the Battalion zone. Wiggle rubbed off the puck. Procession comes in after it, battling with Matthews. And now nobody can get anything going as there's a bunch of sticks whacking away at some legs. And now finally Lucan comes away with it. Lucan back to Kennedy. Kennedy up ice to Bouchard. Bouchard chips the puck down the ice while avoiding a hit from Aitchison. Behind the net now is Akey before he gives it to Aitchison. And they send the puck down the ice. Christopoulos stops that one up before giving it over to Turley. And then a couple of bodies were changing there at the Colts bench, so the puck goes up and out of play after hitting one of them. And we'll get a stoppage here. 10:30 left in the second period.
We keep bringing up Bo Akey. He's one of the players to watch for the Barrie Colts as he is currently ranked in the Central Scouting. He's the 44th ranked skater in the North America, drawing a lot of attention this year from NHL scouts. He's already got career hero highs this year in goals, assists, and points. 5 goals, 17 assists, 22 points on the season so far from the Barrie Colts. He's one of the top players to watch in the OHL this year in the upcoming NHL draft.
We're going to get a penalty here, delayed against the Battalion. So the Battalion have been yet without a power play, but the Colts picking up another power play here as we're going to get a slashing call to Christopoulos. And just another thing on Bo Akey, he's been one of the few Colts in this game that's really, really been impressive.
Exactly, and that's what he's been doing all season so far, drawing the likes of a lot of the NHL teams. They really like the way he manages the puck there back on at the back end. And what really helps is that right-handed shot. Right-handed defensemen are hard to come by, and they're few and far between the good ones.
And the Colts get ready to go on their third power play of the game. Arnsby picks up the puck, though, and sends it down the length of the ice. West has to pick it up in the trapezoid and play it.
And that's one of the things is those loose pucks. Battalion on the penalty kill like to jump on top of them and not let the Barrie Colts regain them.
Vierling with a chance in close, but he can't get a shot away. Gets it back to the point for Akey. Now punt it. And it's interesting watching the two defensemen on this power play. Akey acting as a quarterback, but punt it looking to be in the shot area. Is now walking out front as Vierling as he takes the shot. And DiVincenzo stops that one in his chest. But yeah, watching punt it out here, he doesn't act as if he's a defenseman on the power play. He is acting as if he's a forward out there.
Exactly, and what you want is to use his size as a distraction for Dom DiVincenzo. Park him in front of the net. He's a hard body to move. He's strong. That low center of gravity helps out, and it's hard to move him from that middle area. And if you can get him parked in front that Marty Williamson's hoping to do, that's going to be really tough for Dom to see some pucks coming in.
Will be for sure. Lemieux back to the point. Goes cross ice. The Colts try to set up here. Beaudoin behind the net. Gets it back to Lemieux at the point. Lemieux looking for some options. Sends it over to Cardwell. Beaudoin behind the net. Back to Cardwell at the point. Cardwell and Lemieux flip-flop. And they give it back to Lemieux, who's looking to shoot but can't. And the pass comes back over to Cardwell. And he does take a shot from the top of the face-off circle. And DiVincenzo knocks that one aside as well. 43 seconds now remaining on the Paul Christopoulos penalty.
Couple good opportunities there by the Barrie Colts. That last one coming off a Vierling stick. But DiVincenzo staying square to the shooters, absorbing those pucks in the middle section and not giving up any rebounds. That's what you want as your goaltender. Good tracking, and just maintaining the focus, keeping rebounds at least.
Hagee takes a shot. Speaking of no rebounds, DiVincentis holds that one down and keeps that one in his glove to make another stoppage play. 38 seconds left now on that power play.
And DiVincentis picking up right where we left off at the end of the first period. Being that number one penalty killer, he looks to be confident in there behind the troops tonight.
Hagee to Vierling. Vierling's pass to Frasca goes nowhere. And the Battalion get it back out to the point before the Colts dump it back in. Frasca gets the pass quickly back to Vierling. Wakely takes Vierling down. No penalty coming on that one. Hagee up to Vierling again. And a quick shot from the slot is turned away by DiVincentis, although Frasca was right there for a rebound, couldn't get anything to go. Hagee to Vierling. It's knocked off, or he doesn't get the pass, so as Nelson knocks it down the length of the ice. 5 seconds now remain on the Christopoulos power play, and we're going to get back to 5-on-5 hockey with 8.5 minutes left in this second period. Frasca goes to the middle of the ice for Lowe. Petrov picks up the pass, though, as he takes a body check from Frasca. Frasca turning into public enemy number one out there as he took a couple of whacks from DiVincentis, too, on that power play. Lukin sends the puck in deep. Petrov turns it right back around. Romani and Kennedy battle for it now with Lowe and Punnett. Punnett looking to take a little bit of a whack there at Romani, and now it looks like Punnett's going to go for a penalty here, and that will reach the midway point of this period. So we'll be back on the other side of this.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
The Battalion will be going to their first man advantage here as we have 7:42 remaining in this second period of play. It's Connor Punnett going off for high sticking, and they'll be serving 2 minutes or less as the Battalion get their first opportunity here tonight. It was Anthony Romani being the victim of that high stick as he had his head go back as he retrieved that stick to the facial area. I really like the way Rhino Land puts together a line after a penalty kill of players that really haven't had much ice time. This time we saw Jackson out with Romani and Petrov. Those three guys aren't really involved in the penalty kill, but they can get that momentum right back after a big penalty kill by getting some zone time. This time they don't get the goal, but they get the penalty called against them. So as a result of that, the Battalion will be on the man advantage.
For 2 minutes or less.
Battalion would like to improve on their power play numbers as they come in with the 12th ranked penalty or power play, only scoring on 21.6% of their opportunities.
Nelson walks the line. Back to Jackson. Jackson goes to Petrov, who quickly one-touch passes it to Nelson. Bloom back to Jackson. Gets it back to Nelson at the blue line. Gives it over to Petrov on the far side. Plays pitch and catch with Nelson, who gives it to Jackson. Jackson, no-look pass. Hit a skate, went back to Petrov. Nelson now switches positions with Jackson. Takes the shot. West couldn't find it, but no Battalion sweaters are around as West pounces on that one. Minute 27 left on the power play.
Exactly. Both Bloom and Ertl vacated the front of the net as they were trying to get out of the way of that shot coming off of the stick of Ty Nelson. And I want to see them get back to what they were using last year, and that set up Petrov in that Ovechkin office in the left center or the left face-off circle for that one-timer, something that we haven't really seen much of. But I think if we can get back to utilizing that, that's going to be a weapon that the Battalion could add on their power play.
Looks like they kind of missed Brandon Coe and Mitch Russell this year on the power play. Speaking of, over to Petrov on that far side face-off. Gets it quickly over to Jackson. Nelson back to Petrov. Petrov's going to walk the line and swap places with Nelson. Before Nelson gives it back to Petrov, they play pitch and catch. And then his pass attempt is out of the reach of Jackson, but it gets to Bloom. Bloom down low. Looks cross crease. Can't get it to go as Tiller tries to spring his guy. DiVincentis is going to come out and play the puck and send it right back down the length of the ice. It's 2 Battalion down on the puck as they look for it. Bloom couldn't get the handle on it right away, though. And they send it into Jackson. Jackson tries to walk out front, then Ertl takes the shot. And it's just laying there next to West. And now the Battalion are going to change their power play units here with 39 seconds left on the man advantage.
Not really the best shot if you're on the power play. That turnaround spin shot by Justin Ertl, putting it into a couple of pairs of legs. I want to see him kick that out and just reset the power play and see if they can get things going again. Not really pushing the effort. You don't have to always get that goal right away. Why not reset it, push it out, and see if you can get things reset for a better shot opportunity. That didn't happen there, and that's what you want as a power play unit, is to capitalize and get the best shot possible for your 5-man unit.
Tarasevich gets it back to Nelson. Goes cross ice to Wakely. Gives it right back to Nelson, who takes another shot. It's off of Arnsby and wide. Romani on the near side half wall. Gives it to Arnsby. 25 seconds left. Romani tries to quickly get it over to Wakely, but instead his pass goes to Nelson. Nelson at the point takes a shot. It just clipped the post. Nelson with a hard shot. He split a puck in half last year. Gets the puck back into his own zone. Less than 10 seconds now on the man advantage. Romani gets it up to Nelson. Colts are going to kill off this one, as it's officially back to 5-on-5. Romani had goals in 4 straight. Out to Arnsby in the point area. Can't get it to go. Had goals in 4 straight before yesterday's game against the Colts. So you think Romani's going to be looking to get back in the goal category. And now going down the ice quickly. That's going to be Cardwell. Cardwell stops up for Vierling. Gets back to Akey. Vierling now. Deep in the zone on the far side corner. Gets it to Akey on the far side half wall. And they get it in quickly to Cardwell. Cardwell skates it across. Loses the handle of it and gives it to Van Steensel. Van Steensel sends it down the ice for Procession. Procession comes in. And Ethan Procession gets the goal. As the puck came out from the corner, out front of West's goal, he tried to knock it away and gave it right to Procession, who had an open net to shoot for. And then West sat there and he couldn't believe what had just happened.
Yeah, Ethan Procession, the recipient of an early Christmas gift by Ben West, as that puck was dumped into the corner. And I was kind of curious to see where that was going to bounce, as that was in the arc of the near corner, and it kind of kicked out to the front of the net. West trying to poke that away, but poked it right on the stick of Ethan Procession, who tucks it in for his 3rd goal of the season, and the Battalion have a lead here, 2-0 with just over 5 left in the second.
Pushing back quickly is Matthews. Matthews looks for Wiggle, and the puck's just going to roll in on DiVincentis, who's going to stop that one. 5:05 left in the second period. 2-0 Battalion now lead.
That was a good pickup there through the middle ice zone where they made eye contact. I don't know if it was Van Steensel or Romani that made that pass into the corner, but Precision was looking to see if that was what the play was, and it sure worked there, as we know how lively the kick plate is here at Memorial Gardens.
Hislop in the Colts zone. Sends the puck into Terrien. Terrien loses it to Punnett, though. And quickly up ice to Wiggle. Wiggle and Matthews now gain the Battalion zone. Wiggle tries to get it out front to Matthews. Can't get the pass to go. Van Steensel chips the puck down the ice. Punnett picks it up, though. And they give it to Wiggle. Wiggle once again trying to gain the Battalion zone. Gives it over to Terrien. And now Tiller plays the puck. 4.5 minutes left. And the puck's down to the Battalion zone. Hislop comes to get it, but DiVincentis had other ideas and played it up to the neutral zone. Ertl tries to gain the zone by himself, but he leaves it for Bloom. Bloom in deep for Jackson. Jackson on the near side wall. Tries to get it back to Christopoulos. He loses the zone, though, and now Lowe takes it through the neutral zone before being knocked down by Jackson. Lukin. Up ice. Bloom gains the zone. Gives it back to Ertl. Ertl tries to chip it back in for Jackson. And Ertl picks it up on the far side half wall with a quick shot from the wall. And West gloves that one aside.
Oh, and Van Steensel will be the only credited assist on Procession's 3rd goal of the season. Van Steensel doing an excellent job sending it into the kick plate, allowing procession to skate onto it. It was curious to see if it was going to be icing or not, but as Ben West came out to play it, that neglected the icing, and he put it right on the stick of Procession 4. That easily gift-wrapped it present here.
Jodwin carries it into the Battalion zone. He loses it to Hislop, though. Now Chisholm comes in for some support before Ertl picks it up. Ertl leaving it for Jackson. Jackson skates it in. Looking for some options, leaves it for Nelson. Nelson loses it in his skates. And now Jodwin goes the other way. Goes cross ice for Lowe. Lowe sends it in. DiVincentis stops it behind his net and leaves it for Turley. For Hislop. Nelson tries to get up to Bloom. Bloom tried to chip it in. Couldn't get it to go. And he's going to go off for a change. And now the other way. That's going to be Cholach, or not Cholach rather. But Grisolia with the pass, or shot on net to DiVincentis. 2:54 now left in the second period.
An easy save for DiVincentis. You're taking that shot from about 14 feet out, allowing Dom to see that clearly. He's going to make no mistake with that glove hand. This is the last game before the Christmas break, as both teams will be off. The Battalion's next action will be the 28th when they host the Sudbury Wolves.
Be interesting to see Sudbury here for the first time. Seen a couple of games of Sudbury this year, including against this Battalion in Sudbury. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Wolves in action up close and not having to drive down Highway 17.
That is also the front end of a home and a home. This time it'll be 2 days in between and not just 24 hours.
Petrov takes a shot. It goes wide. The front line won't be off as long as the Battalion, though. We do have a game coming up Wednesday. Is now coming in as a good chance by Jelsma, but he's stopped by DiVincentis.
So well read. DiVincentis was so easy to read that play and staying right with him, look calmly, making that pad slide to the right-hand side.
And now quickly as a tip chance. Didn't get to Wakely, but the Colts almost chipped that one into their own net. Wakely now in the slot, comes in, walks in. Can't sneak it past West as Wakely had a golden opportunity. And you got to think he's going to, if he doesn't score here for the rest of the game, that one's going to live in his Christmas nightmares.
It definitely will. He thought he could get a little bit more on, but he had the stick lifted at the last second and just got a little bit on it as he was trying to go between the legs of Ben West. Wakely doing an excellent job on the forecheck, picking the pocket of the Barrie Colts defender, and then with a little bit of time trying to make West make that first move. But Wakely just couldn't get enough on it as it's still a 2-goal lead here for the North Bay Battalion. 150 remaining in this middle frame.
Arnsby now comes in for the two number 11. Arnsby and Ethan Cardwell coming in for the faceoff. Arnsby wins it. Romani takes a shot. It goes wide of the net. Van Steensel can't keep it in the zone, or rather he does. But the Colts eventually do get it out, and that was a 2-on-1 for Barrie. Cardwell takes the shot. As pass over to Ty York, and as York took the shot, it got through DiVincentis' legs, but it went wide of the net. Lemieux takes another shot. DiVincentis knocks that one aside, as he just gave the shot on goal to the Battalion and not the Colts. 31-25 apparently is the shot total. Should be 30-26. Hislop to Van Steensel. Van Steensel kicks it out, and they nearly loses it as Vierling comes away with it. Van Steensel picks it back up, though, on the far side wall, dealing with all sorts of abuse. And now Lemieux comes in, tries to get a shot away, but couldn't. Final minute of play here in the second period now. Cardwell back to the point. Van Steensel gets the puck off of the stick of Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh now, though, in the near side corner as they lose it. And Romani picks it up on the near side wall before chipping it down the ice. Golden opportunity here for Arnsby as Kavanaugh fell over, but as he was falling over, he was able to kick the puck back over to his teammates and get it out of harm's way. 26 seconds now left on the clock. Wiggle in for Matthews. It's a quick shot there by the Colts. That's Beaudoin taking that shot. And it's out of play. So 18.1 seconds remain here in the second period. 2-0 Battalion lead.
Best sequence of the second period by the Barrie Colts, getting a couple of opportunities. Dom DiVincentis standing his ground, kind of looked like he got caught in between moves there as that first initial shot got through the legs, as it was like he didn't know if he wanted to go down to a full butterfly, one leg down, but that got through him, and he looked behind him momentarily to see if it got through into the back.
Yeah, you don't like to see that. You don't like that feeling as a goalie. 10 seconds now left on the clock. Bloom takes it in, takes the backhand shot. It goes wide of the net. Kennedy can't keep it in. So now the Colts with a golden opportunity here with a couple of seconds. Quickly, they can't get it though, as the Battalion thwart that plan. So after 40 minutes of play, it's 2-0 for the Battalion off the stick of Josh Bloom and Ethan Procession. So coming from all parts of the lineup here, these two goals. So looking like looking to be a good finish here for the Battalion and the Colts in the final period coming up. Derek, your thoughts so far through 40 minutes of play?
I thought the North Bay Battalion looked like the much stronger team again. Really dominated in the third period of play, in the middle frame, the second period. The Battalion want to keep that pressure going and not allow the Colts any opportunities to get back into it. The key is to stay out of that penalty box and not allow the Colts any really bad chances. Stay focused, keep the foot on, and keep the pressure going.
Well, 2-0 might be enough with the way that DiVincentis has played, but you always want to add more insurance, of course. This isn't the mid-2010s North Bay Battalion who play for a 1-0 lead and then try and defend it the rest of the way, but we'll have to see what happens here over the next 30 or 20 minutes of play, not 30 minutes. That's the wrong sport. But anyways, we'll be back on the other side of this with Derek and Ben Long going through your second intermission. And as always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, and keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back into Memorial Gardens as we go through the second intermission. The North Bay Battalion add one more goal in that middle frame and come into intermission with a 2-0 lead. Ethan Precision with his third of the season from Owen Van Steensel at 14:47 made it a 2-goal lead. A few more penalties, one for each team in that middle frame. Paul Christopoulos went off for slashing at 9:35 and Connor punted for high sticking at 12:08 for the Barrie Colts. Shots on goal in that second period, the Barrie Colts 12 for a total of 25. The North Bay Battalion 13 for a total of 31. Neither team able to score with the man advantage. The Barrie Colts are 0 for 4. Meanwhile, the Battalion 0 for 1. and the Barrie Colts have won 67% of the face-offs. They have won so far 21-14 the draws in tonight's game. Looking around the OHL, two other games in action right now. Both of them are through 2 periods of play. Also, in Kingston, the Frontenacs are tied with the Ottawa 67s by a score of 2-2. And in Mississauga, it's the Kitchener Rangers leading the Steelheads by a score of 2-0. And later tonight, it is the regular Sunday night occurrence as the Sudbury Wolves are in Oshawa to take on the Generals. That is a 6:05 start later tonight. So let's bring in Ben Long as him and I will go through our second period. Well, Ben, Battalion didn't let their foot off. They kept the pressure going and really looked strong again in that second period.
Yeah, and I mean, they still haven't adjusted the shot clock to be the correct way from that last shot on Dom. But
I think they were just slow in putting up the previous shot.
But they didn't put one up at the...
Who knows?
They're wrecking Dom's save percentage here.
You want to boost it, though.
I know. That's why you want more shots on net.
Yeah, but no matter what, 100% is 100%.
That's true. And you know what? I think that might be one of the bigger stories of this game so far is that Dom's playing shutout. He's only let in that... There's been that one chance off his post or off his leg, kind of threw his legs out the other side of the crease.
Exactly. He got... When you think back to the game Thursday night, there was a goal that got through his glove that he probably got more of than what he got on that shot. It's weird how percentages and angles work sometimes to your advantage, as that caught him just in the right spot to send it wide of the net, whereas the other night it caught him more but put him in behind him.
Yeah, and I think that's, physics is weird. And you know what? We're not paid enough to fully understand it, but that's one of those ones where it's just kind of, you wipe the sweat off your brow and you say, all right, that worked in my favor, let's keep going.
Exactly, and what I really like tonight is how Dom DiVincentis, he's been active low on the ice with his legs. It looks like the Barrie Colts have been trying to get those one-timers low into the corners, and DiVincentis just throwing those legs out like, wait, there's a leg, you get a leg, everyone get a leg tonight, and he's kicking rebounds out like there's no tomorrow. And what he's doing best is he's putting them into areas where there's no Barrie Colts for that rebound shot.
Yeah, and that's the ones where he can't hold on to it and smother it, which he's been doing a pretty good job of doing as per usual as well. He's kicking out to spots where his own guys can get it, or it's into a corner where they have to fight for it, or, he's not giving them the clear shot in front of the net off the rebounds.
No, and when you're looking at the opposite, Ethan Precision getting that gift wrapped goal, Ben West coming out to play that puck, we see the Battalion try and use that bounce pass off of the end boards quite often. This time it works out as Owen Van Steensel sends that pass off the kick plate, and Ethan Precision right there to tap into the wide open net.
Yeah, Courtney had mentioned Brandon Coe and Russell in the first period there, and they used that all the time last year, and to much success. And this one was, I almost feel sorry for Ben West that it was just it bounced out of there weird. Like, I didn't even expect it to go that way. And then he went out to try to stop it and clear it and bounced off his stick a little weird, and Precision was right there. Good one for Precision, and like you said, that's a gift you don't get every day.
No, and with the Christmas season upon us, gifts are going to be plentiful for both not only the troops but the fans. Hopefully everyone has a great holidays. I know both you and I are going to be off for some time, but you know what? Let's recap how our players to watch have been doing so far, as let's see how Mike the Financial Advisor's player to watches are doing through 40 minutes.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
And starting with our player to watch tonight for the Barrie Colts, Bo Jelsma. He has yet to reach the score sheet. He's gotten 3 shots on goal. He's a -1 for the evening, but the numbers that are really counting for him is the face-offs. He's won 6 of his 7 draws. Owen Van Steensel on the other end with the North Bay Battalion, 1 assist on that bounce pass. He's a +1 and 5 shots on goal, so a pretty good numbers for one of our players to watch there. Owen Van Steensel has been everything that we expect out of him. He brings that 60 minutes a night, whether or not he's on the ice or on the bench. He's a player that you can count on for Ryan Houlihan.
Yeah, and you have a streak. I don't know if you have still a streak going, but you have a history of picking our players to watch, and they end up scoring goals. And although he hasn't scored tonight, he's did some awfully big penalty killing in the first period. Put up 1 assist there already, so he's put out a good game. And although Jelsma hasn't scored, I don't know if anyone on Barrie's going to. Like, Dom's just playing that way tonight, and the few that have been problems, we've got the lucky bounces on. But, like you said, 6 out of 7 face-offs. That's a big number and an important number for a centerman.
When you can start with the puck, you can create so much more opportunities. If you can get a face-off in the offensive zone, you can maybe run one of your face-off plays out of it. If you win it cleanly, you can start the puck start the play, create a scoring chance, and hopefully capitalize on it, something that the Colts haven't done. And if you win it in the defensive zone, you're doing the opposite. You're keeping the other team from setting up a play, and sometimes you might have one of those defensive plays set up, something we've seen here in the past, in which I know the Mississauga Steelhead team was using was a couple plays in the defensive zone after winning a face-off. Unfortunately, they don't work as often as an offensive face-off does.
Yeah, and I was about to add in there before you jumped on it before I could, is that the defensive end ones are almost more important than the offensive end ones. Because in the offensive end, you can still get the puck back and get a good chance out of it. But in the defensive end, if they get the puck right off the bat, they're almost guaranteed a shot and a chance. So if you're in the defensive end, you can make sure you get the puck, let you set it up, get it out of your end. That's a huge part of the battle.
And looking at the North Bay Battalion, Liam Arnsby comes in with only a 50.5% face-off winning average, and he's the only guy on the battalion that is actually above 50%, as Pascal Zito is out of the lineup. He's a little bit better at 53%, but they're not starting with the face-offs. Arnsby and Wakely both 4 for 10 tonight in draw area. That's something that the battalion, they need to work on. And that's an area, along with their power play, that you need to improve if you want to continue to be one of the top teams in the OHL.
Yeah, and I think North Bay has relied pretty heavily on this year and even last year having solid goaltending and having a good transition game, which is great to rely on that. But then when you run up against some strong teams, you don't get that chance for the transition, and then you're kind of toast. You need to work on that face-offs and have more positive side numbers on that.
Bringing in transitions, that second period, I found a lot of times the Barrie Colts were just flipping pucks out to the neutral zone, and the battalion were sitting back, resetting, and attacking in numbers.
Yep.
When you're starting to do that, that's where you're generating your offense, you're getting your opportunities. The Barrie Colts have had none of that basically through the first 40 minutes of play. Barrie Colts have to find a way to move the puck through the neutral zone and enter into the battalion zone with the puck and set up. A lot of times they're just one shot and done, and it's the puck going the other way for the North Bay Battalion.
And even without the one shot and done, I've seen a few times, and you and Courtney mentioned it during the play, that they've done a few times where they'll dump it in, all 5 guys go off the ice. There's no forecheck. Whoever on North Bay is free to pick it up, and then usually has a good pass down the far side to give a break to odd man numbers the other way.
Exactly, and that's how the pressure of your offense can help create opportunities, by getting those players tired, especially with the long change in the second period. The longer you can keep those defensive players out there, the more opportunities either you're going to create or you're going to force them to take a penalty, either by a stick infraction, clearing it over the glass. Even if they ice the puck, they have to remain out there. So the longer you can keep those players out there, the more beneficial it is for the North Bay Battalion, and that really worked in their favor, especially in the second period. But Ben West has been outstanding in goal. Other than that one mistake he made on the goal by precision, he's only let in 2 goals on 31 shots so far.
Yeah, and that's good numbers still, right? Like you can't put this loss on him at this point. He's done his part to keep the team in the game. They just haven't done anything the other way for him to have his efforts come to anything.
even if he was posting a perfect number, they still wouldn't find themselves in the lead, because you've got at the other end a goaltender, Dom DeVincentis, that is just playing unbelievable, stopping everything he sees, and that's what the North Bay Battalion are doing, is keeping those shooting lanes open so that DeVincentis can have clear vision of those shots coming in from distance. We're set for a very entertaining third period here at Memorial Gardens. As we go into this last break of the second intermission, it's the North Bay Battalion leading the Barrie Colts by a score of 2-0 here on the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
And welcome back to Battalion Hockey here on the Frontline broadcast, brought to you by Avid Joe's Eatery out on Trout Lake Road. Give them a try and enjoy their duck wings. Really good appetizer, and tell them that Courtney sent them, and he'll give you the best deals ever. Wow, the Battalion lead 2-0 as we get underway here in the third period of play.
Yeah, as Derek said, we're back under action. Back in action here at the third period of North Bay Memorial Gardens. The Battalion in their home, or Barrie in the road blues, come in with Matthews going left to right this period once again. The Battalion in their home whites going right to left, although those jerseys will be changing shortly after the Christmas break, as the league usually switches around the home and road jerseys. So we'll be seeing the Battalion green jerseys as Bloom deposits his man in the corner. Nelson through the neutral zone, sends it down to the Colts corner. That's going to go for icing. One thing that's very important for the troops is leading after 2 periods of play. They're 15-0-1 when leading after 2 periods, compared to 1-9 when trailing after the second. But they're 5-0-0 when tied at the end of the second period. Well, the Battalion were up 2-0 after 40 minutes, Derek, so that bodes well for their overall record.
And that's what you want, is to keep the foot on. I don't want to see the Battalion sit back in this third period and let the Colts come to them. Continue taking the action and bring the play to the Barrie Colts.
Nelson. That puck's going to go down the length of the ice again. And much like in yesterday's Trappers game for North Bay, they're going to take successive icing, although the Trappers made a habit of it, doing it almost every minute on the minute.
What the difference is in the Great North U18 League, you are allowed to make a line change on those icing calls, something you can't do here at the OHL level. So it's not helping the Battalion by getting those icing calls.
Ertl sends the puck in. Jackson kicks it into the Colts zone. And the Colts, Kavanaugh, or Aitchison comes away with it, but now Van Steensel with the puck takes a sharp angled shot. West turns that one aside. Looking up ice now is Vierling. Vierling turns around, tries to get it to go out front, but Van Steensel gets a handle on it and gives it up to Christopoulos. Christopoulos through the neutral zone. Drops it back for Arnsby. Arnsby's pass attempt, he fans on it, then diving, tries to keep it in the zone, but he can't. Van Steensel came in for help, though, and carries it in. Van Steensel back to Arnsby. Arnsby takes the shot. Akey blocked that one. And you got to think Akey's feeling a little bit achy after that one as he nearly doubled over.
Aching my ears by hearing that.
Van Steensel chips the puck down the ice past Akey. And it goes cross ice. On the near side wall now, Vierling tries to chip it up. Hislop created some pressure for him. And now going the other way, Kavanaugh has to pick it up before he loses it. Romani now, over to Wakely. Wakely takes the shot. You got to have to think for Wakely this year, after these close chances, he's going to be getting a lump of coal for Christmas. Puck on the near side wall. Wakely battling for it with Romani, but the puck comes out and Hislop has to pick it up in the neutral zone.
Wakely's had a good first half, though. He's got so far 16 goals on the season, so he's well ahead of the numbers he put up last year as he put up 20 goals as a rookie in the OHL. That's a good number for goals, and he's going to look to get much further than that. I think easily he can reach the 35-goal plateau this year for the North Bay Battalion. He's going to be one of the key players down the stretch looking to get some notice from NHL's teams this year in the upcoming draft.
I think he's put himself in a great opportunity to do so for sure. Wakely now with some speed through the neutral zone. Stops up and chips it down. He was telling me a bit of a funny story from his family. When he went to Ottawa's camp, they all thought he was going to be playing in Ottawa this year. And he says, no, even if I sign with Ottawa, I'm going back to North Bay. But a lot of his family members, though, obviously don't really understand. They're just hockey fans because he plays. Don't really understand, so they thought they would, instead of coming to North Bay this year. As that's a big hit for Jodwin, taken into the boards by Wakely. And he hit the boards hard, but he's up under his own power as he doubles over on the bench. Even the crowd kind of gave like a collective ooh on that one.
Just lost his balance. It wasn't much of the hit. It was just more knocking him off of balance.
Quick shot from Terrian comes in. Van Steensel takes the rebound. Can't get it past West, but yeah, so a lot of his family members thought that he was either playing in Ottawa or Belleville this year. And he says, no, guys. You're still coming to North Bay.
Van Steensel getting a little bit of a double shift here as he's out with Procession and that's Terrian, as we haven't really seen much of Brett Bouchard in this game tonight. This is the unit that brought in that second goal for the Battalion.
Yep. As Van Steensel picked up the assist, a good heads-up play by OV. Procession tries to get around one guy before Van Steensel does, gives it up to Terrian. Terrian kicks it away, but kicks it too far in. And then he takes his man hard into the boards, and now he's going to take a bit of a slash, and Terrian playing well above his size. To his credit, that was a bit of a dangerous play, and he's going to get a boarding call for it, but not backing down as he got slashed, as I believe, just curious as to who that was that went into the boards.
6.
We don't have a 6.
8. Try 8.
All right,
Keep
Tiller.
going.
9, 1, 2.
It was Tiller.
Yeah, so Tiller gets up quickly and try to retaliates on Terrian a little bit. So Terrian not backing down, but to be fair, that was a bit of a dangerous hit.
Yeah, Terrian buckled as he went into the boards, as that's Marty Williamson trying to plead his case as he wants a little bit more, as he calls over the official Myers, looking to get a better explanation of why that's only a 2-minute penalty for such a dangerous hit. But this is going to be the 5th opportunity on the power play for tonight for the Barrie Colts, a team that comes in with the 4th best power play. They've scored on 25%. So if you're looking at averages, they're 0 for 4, and if you look at 25, that's 1 for 4, so they're due, and it's going to be up to Dom Demnichensis to continue being the best penalty killer tonight for the North Bay Battalion. seems like all of his action so far has been with when they're shorthanded.
Yeah, that's where most of the shots have come, just like that one there as he kicks that one aside. Akey run over by Arnsby, and Arnsby sends that down on West. Akey's going to look up and see which Mack truck just hit him. Oh my goodness. Arnsby just took him right down to the ice in the open ice. Jelsma loses the puck. Arnsby picks it up on the near far side wall. Gets it up to Van Steensel, but he loses it quickly. And Barrie now a bit of a weird bounce off the boards and came out in front of the net, but Lucan quickly collects it and brings it into the corner.
Yeah, looked like Arnsby was having a sandwich waiting for that puck to come around, and it hit the area where the trappers, where the battalion come out onto the ice and bounced out in front, but nothing coming out of it, so the battalion will clear it all the way down.
Bit of a weird bounce for sure, but we've seen that before here. As the puck goes back around those boards again, this time didn't come out, but the battalion are able to clear it down the ice. Under a minute now on that man advantage. Jacob Therrien sitting in the box.
There's a couple areas in that North Bay zone that you got to watch out for. You got both that door where the troops come out and also the Zamboni entrance. Both of those doors sometimes don't close properly and seal up. They give some weird bounces off of them.
They do indeed. Back to the point, Lemieux sends it back in for Matthews. Matthews on the far side wall, sends it in deep to Beaudoin. Cardwell takes a shot. DiVincenzo stops that one. And then the rebound comes out. And the battalion send that one down the length of the ice. Under 20 seconds now left on the man advantage.
The knowledgeable crowd here at Memorial Gardens tonight really giving an ovation as Ertl cleared that one down the ice.
Yeah, the crowd has been into it for sure in this game. DiVincenzo's pass misses everybody. So being one of the better penalty killers on the ice, sends it right down the length of the ice, and that kills it off as Therrien's now back on the ice. Quickly goes over for a quick line change though. So back to 5-on-5 with just under 14 minutes to go here in this third period. Battalion up 2-0. Cardwell sends the puck in deep. Christopoulos battles for it. And now the puck comes out past Kavanaugh and goes down to the Colts zone. Kavanaugh slows things down to Tiller. Back to Kavanaugh. Looking up ice to Ty York. York chips it back out. And Grisolia, now we're going to get a stoppage here on offside. 13:30 left in the third period.
And there we see the troops again with that line of Jackson, Petrov, and Romani to start after a penalty kill. They'll remain out there trying to get something started as the battalion will make a late change as they try and get their line combinations back on order. As coming out now, you have Procession with Bouchard and Van Steensel as Bouchard and Therrien are taking turns on that right wing for this fourth unit.
Kavanaugh tries to chip the puck up. Wiggle. Can't get it to go anywhere now. And Bouchard, as you mentioned, who's back out there, takes the pass over to Van Steensel. Van Steensel sends that one in and then runs into Kavanaugh afterwards. And the two exchange some looks and some shoves. West stopping that one. 38-28 the shots on goal now in favor of the troops.
It doesn't matter which line Ryan Houlihan puts out there tonight for the North Bay Battalion, whether it's line 1 through 4 or how you like to call them. They've been creating both chances offensively and doing excellent jobs keeping pucks out of the defensive zone and just making it so much easier for Dom DiVincenzo to see. And it's just in and out through the lineup. You got to be happy when you can roll 4 lines throughout a game and be happy.
Petrov with a shot. Just went over the net of West off the face-off. Hislop in his own zone corrals the puck, gives it to Petrov. Petrov quickly sends it up ice for Tarasevich, who then leaves it for Petrov, who's streaking up before he chips it back in. Kennedy with a quick shot. It's off the end boards to Petrov on the near side. Back to Kennedy at the point. Kennedy takes a shot. It's blocked. And that's Lowe who blocks that one. Or Frasca. Petrov chips the puck back down. Now into the Colts zone. Jelsma tries to get around Wakely, and he does. And now he skates the puck through the neutral zone. Jelsma over to Frasca. Frasca back to Jelsma on the near side wall. Tries to go cross ice, but his pass is out of the battalion zone. So the Colts will have to tag up. Akey tries to pass it back up to Frasca. Now the Battalion are battling for it in front of the penalty boxes before the troops send it back in. Tarasevich on the far side wall in the corner, battling for it with 3 Colts players. And they can't get it away from him until they finally do, about after 10 seconds after he got there. 12 minutes now left in the third. Up ice. It's Ty York who sends it in. And then DiVincentis' net comes off, but York takes a nasty spill behind the net, but he looks to be okay.
And it's the North Bay Battalion getting blamed for the net coming off, so they won't be able to make a line change, but the Barrie Colts will. Really impressed with the game tonight of Wyatt Kennedy. He's been able to maintain his composure back there on the back end. Couple opportunities where Barrie Colts seem to be left all alone for that cross-ice pass, and Kennedy just tying up the stick and keeping the Barrie Colts unable to capitalize on those backdoor passes.
Nelson's chip out leads to a break for the Battalion here. Bloom comes in. It's off his skate. He can't get it to settle down for him. York sends it back around the other side of the Battalion zone. Nelson stops it up, carries it in, takes the shot. West turns that one aside, and Nelson comes in and bowls over York. York taking a whole bunch of abuse here on back-to-back shifts. Now the puck's back out to the point for Nelson. Nelson. His shot is blocked by York. Lucan and Cardwell run into each other in the neutral zone. And now York knocks down Bloom. Bloom looking for a call, not going to get one, as he was taken down well outside of the play. Ertl up ice to Jackson. Jackson and Bloom now through the neutral zone. Over to Bloom, who kicks it in. That's going to be deemed offside. And now Bloom and Punnett, as Punnett just kind of skates over to Bloom and whacks him. And then Bloom takes exception to it, and then Punnett's kind of looking around, being like, what?
Yeah, Punnett delivering that first cross-check to the back of Josh Bloom, as that pass was a little too slow from Jackson coming across, and Jackson getting in before Bloom can enter the zone. As teams, the physicality is starting to heat up here, as we got just over 11 minutes to play. One player I haven't really seen much of in the last 2 periods is Braden Turley, as it looks like the Battalion have shortened their bench to only running with 5D here in tonight's game.
Yeah, Battalion, you got to think looking ahead to when Bruskowski and Winslow comes back, that Turley might be the odd man out.
Yeah, Braden Turley, it's nice to see him in the lineup. You got to give him a little bit of ice time, and you know what? When they do return, he'll be the odd man out, but he will still have that experience, as he will be one of the D they look to in the future.
Yeah, and he's done a good job this year. It's just comes down to Winslow and Bruskowski or Turley, right? So you're going to go with your overager and a guy you just got in a trade most likely. As now the Battalion battling for it in the Colts zone. Pass comes out, too hot for Arnsby to handle, but they keep it in the zone. His lop now. His shot stopped by West, and then a good backhanded attempt by Van Steensel. Can't get it to go, and now Akey and Van Steensel have some words for each other. And so does Aitchison and Romani, who are right in the Colts blue paint.
Yeah, Van Steensel taking a couple cross checks, as everyone wants to have words with Owen Van Steensel. Aki giving him the most attention, and then in behind the goalkeeper West, it's Romani and Aitchison. Nothing coming about of it, as play will resume here with a face-off coming to the left-hand side of Ben West. Both teams making some changes, but still words being exchanged, as now Arnsby having some words with Bo Aki on the way to the bench. So interesting to see how this game finishes, as this is the number 1 and 2 teams in the Central Division. Going into tonight's game, only 8 points separated them, and the Barrie Colts had 2 games in hand for the second half of the season.
Battalion battling for it in the near side, or it'd be in the corner. Wakely tries to come away with it and feed it out front to Petrov. Can't get it to go. Now coming in now. That's Chisholm. He leaves the puck up though, and Procession skates the puck through the neutral zone. Procession chips that one back in. Now Petrov out there with Procession and Tarian. Procession behind the net. He's chopped out by Kavanaugh. And now we're going to get another stoppage here, as there is going to be a penalty. They'll go for hooking. And now a few more words after the whistle. And one thing we're seeing from Petrov more this year than we didn't really see last year is he's mixing it up a lot more.
Yeah, this time he's mixing it up with Chisholm of the Barrie Colts. The penalty is going against the North Bay Battalion again. It's Ethan Procession going to the penalty box. So as we reach the halfway point, the North Bay Battalion continue to lead the Barrie Colts by a score of 2-0 here on the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Just over 2,400 people here in attendance tonight for this final regular season game before the holiday stoppage. Next game for the North Bay Battalion will be Wednesday evening. That is against the Sudbury Wolves. The Highway 7-time rivalry will reheat up, and they'll play back-to-back as they'll be back in Sudbury on the Friday evening. That's the next time we're going to see the North Bay Battalion in action. But the Frontline, they'll be down in Powassan on Wednesday night as the Greater Sudbury Cubs will be in Powassan to take on the Voodoos. That being the front end of a home-and-home against the Greater Sudbury Cubs to conclude the first half of the NOJHL regular season. Well, Courtney, we're in for an important final 9:46. None other than these 2 minutes here as the Battalion kill off their sixth penalty of the game.
Yeah, the Battalion looking to, that's right around their average. They usually take, it says here, about 12 minutes per game. So they're at, I would say they're at 12 minutes. They're at 14 because one of those power penalties was a 4-minute. Are you counting that as a separate penalty?
They count that as
okay,
a separate,
I see what you're saying.
It's two minors
I see what, okay,
together,
yeah,
so
okay. So yeah, 12 minutes
12
then.
minutes.
So they've been called 5 times, but they've been penalized 6 technically.
Correct.
Confusion. I'm really excited to not have to do this for a week.
Well, it's because if they score in that first 2
Yeah,
minutes,
then they get the,
they get the other 2.
Jelsma carries it in, can't get anything to go though as Van Steensel picks it up, sends it down the length of the ice. West had to stop that one.
I think Gelsma very surprised that there was nobody cutting down that left wing
Yeah.
side as he made that pass to an open wing.
Thought somebody was going to be there and nobody was. Bloom now battling with it, but Hislop picks it up and his clearing attempt's going to go down the length of the ice. Less than a minute now on the Procession penalty. Battalion 0 for 1 on their lone power play of the game, but the Colts here have seen a steady stream of green going to the penalty box and haven't been able to get anything going yet. Cardwell back to the point for Lemieux. Cardwell takes the shot. David Chettis knocks that one away. Now carrying it in is Bojwin. Steven Chettis stops that one and is cleared back out. Lemieux battling with Ertl. Ertl nearly pushes him off the puck before he goes back and skates back around.
Divincent is definitely playing with, he has something to prove tonight after giving up those 5 goals in yesterday's loss.
Lemieux tries to take another shot. Instead it gets out to Wakely. Wakely now going to go in quickly with a quick breakaway. He takes the shot. 3 golden opportunities for Wakely in this game, and he's not been able to bury the biscuit, Derek. Oh my goodness, Procession now. We're back on to 5-on-5. 7.5 minutes. Lucan comes and takes the shot. It's high and wide of the net. Kennedy now picks it up in the neutral zone. Nice little stop up. Sends Cardwell not flying, but well past him. Wakely walks in, takes another shot. And that one's stopped again by West. Wakely looking snake bitten in this one.
Wakely only has 4 shots registered in tonight's game, but his opportunities way outnumber than those shots attempts on goal. As again, another glorious opportunity, this time sending it high over top of that crossbar. We might have to have a word with him to reset the sights on that stick. Hopefully the scoring touch resumes after the Christmas break.
Well, we'll see. Like you said, with that home and home against the Wolves, the Frontline podcast itself taking off 2 weeks. You can catch our most recent episode with Pasquale Zito and Charlie Robertson as a clearing attempt does come up and over the boards. Kind of snuck that one in under the radar, though, as we talked to them Friday and just released it Saturday. So not an unusual release day, but there is a new episode of the Frontline if you're looking for it. Very quick, 30 minutes. with Robertson, who's going to the top prospects game, and newest Battalion Pasquale Zito.
That must be exciting for Charlie Robertson being named to that prospect roster.
Quick shot, sorry, by Petrov. Go ahead, Dirk.
No, I was expecting that. That's what you want, is those face-off wins right back to your shooter Petrov like that. But yeah, Robertson getting the nod to represent some of the NHL prospects this year as a goaltender in that top prospects game.
Now coming in all alone on a nice pass attempt. The Colts can't get anything off that one, as that was Grizzoli who was in right on DiVincentis on a nice pass right in front. But they couldn't get to go. Now, out front, DiVincentis didn't see that one, and the Colts are going to be looking at this. What do we have to do to bury one here? As DiVincentis didn't see the puck come out, and Lowe was all alone in the slot.
Yeah, Carter Lowe's going to be looking to see what happened there.
Back over to Lowe, and again in the slot for Grizzoli. He just missed that one. This is the best looking the looks that the Colts have given us so far in this game, but they can't get anything to go. Petrov now taking the shot. West knocks that one aside with his glove. Battalion up to 44 shots on the game. The Colts up to 30. So the Battalion back-to-back nights of 40-plus shots against these Colts. Procession now skates it in all alone, looking for some reinforcements. He's hit hard into the boards. Keeps the puck, though. Gets it out to Lukin. Gives it over to Christopoulos. Christopoulos looking for a chance. Takes a shot on net. It's blocked. Gets in on West. He takes the save. A couple of whacks at it. Can't get it to go with some bodies in front. 5:30 now left in this third period. Lukin skates around. Looks up ice to Jackson. Jackson gives it over to Arnsby. Arnsby skates it in. Nearly lost it as he was looking to take a shot. His backhand chance up against Punnett's skate. Jackson skating around the zone. Looking to create something as he's pulled down to the ice, and now the Battalion will be going to the power play for the first time in what feels like eons. Just over 5 minutes left. They still lead 2-0.
Well, this will be only the second opportunity with the man advantage in tonight's game. The other one came at the 12:08 mark of the second period, so it's just been over 20 minutes between penalties by the Barrie Colts. But the North Bay Battalion, not only if they score this to their advantage to add that third goal, but even better is they can take 2 minutes off of the clock, bringing it basically under 3 minutes to go if they don't end up scoring. So a beneficial time for the Battalion either way.
Ertl wins it back to Nelson. Nelson to the near side wall of Petrov. Back to Nelson at the point, over to the far side of Jackson. Jackson passes it in deep to Ertl. Ertl looking for some options, skates it out, gives it back to Nelson at the point. Nelson cross ice to Petrov. Petrov on the near side wall sends that one up and over the glass and out of play, so another stoppage here. 4:45 left in this third period.
Another shot that probably wasn't the best angle, as Petrov was below the face-off circle. Not really anything there to look at net-wise, but good for him trying to get that towards the net, as that puck did end up going out of play for another offensive draw.
Jackson with a quick shot. He got into position real quick off that face-off win by Ertl. Now Jackson with the puck again gets it back to Nelson. Nelson over to Petrov. Back to the point for Nelson. Nelson takes the shot. West turns that one aside. But there's the speed of Jackson to get across the zone that quickly after the face-off to try and get a good shot. Minute 19 now left on the Jelsma penalty.
And that's one of those design plays after winning that face-off, is have Jackson get out there quickly for that one-timer to get things off. And that's what happens when you can win draws, is you can get that opportunity as Matt Sukram makes the big screen sitting up top in the VIP Club Lounge, wondering why he's not up here on the broadcast tonight.
It's the only time someone will call him a VIP. Petrov back in his own zone. Under a minute now left on the power play for the troops. Gets it up ice to Bloom quickly. Bloom goes cross ice to Jackson. Jackson on the near side gets it out front to Petrov. Petrov with a shot, and that's blocked. Bloom's quick a chance to find Jackson, can't get it to go. Now it's in deep. Bloom once again behind the net. Gets it over to Jackson. Jackson battling with Cardwell now. He falls down, and the Colts are going to get a chance now going the other way. Punnett stops up, looks out for Cardwell. Cardwell goes across ice, and the Colts are going to break DiVincentis' shutout here as Verling, shorthanded, on a nice passing play started by Punnett to Cardwell, and then they got it underneath the legs of Petrov just to get it over to Verling, who was able to punch that one in past DiVincentis.
Verling's 15th of the season, as that was basically a 3-on-2 developing. Punnett starting the rush, getting it across for Cardwell, and Verling catching DiVincentis, sliding across. He likes to bring it with him and tuck it in with the backhand as the yawning 6-foot cage was wide open for him. And we got an interesting game here as it's a 1-goal lead now with 3.5 minutes to play in this third period.
Battalion still on the power play for another 20 seconds. Both teams trading shorthanded markers here in this one. Neither can get a power play goal, though. Back to the point for Christopoulos. He takes a shot. West turns that one aside. Christopoulos back at the point, gives it to Wakely. Wakely takes a shot. West can't get a handle on it. And Arnsby fell over him trying to get that one to go, but it somehow stays out. Arnsby back behind the net. Sends the puck back out to the point for Lucan. Lucan keeps it in. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey now. 3 minutes left. Arnsby will keep an eye on West to see when he gets pulled from the net. Jelsma skates through, almost wills his way to the front of the net, but Christopoulos is able to pick up the loose puck. Lucan falling on the ice with Christopoulos, and they're looking for the puck. I think Lucan's on top of it, and there's finally a whistle to signal a stoppage of play. 2:40 now left in the third period. 2-1 Battalion lead. 49-31 are the shots in favor of the troops.
After seeing how many shots you put up the board in 2 nights, 45 last night, another 49 tonight, and only able to score 5 goals against the Barrie Colts, you've got to question how strong the goaltending is for those Barrie Colts. And to think 49 shots and only 1 shot could be the difference between a tie game here and a win tonight for the North Bay Battalion. So quite the interesting finish we're in for.
Punnett takes a shot. DiVincentis just got a piece of that one and sent it wide. Akey back in deep. Nelson chips that one out to the far side corner, and Hislop holds him down. Procession taken hard into the boards. It's likely the last time we'll see this line out, and there's the tying goal. Matthews ties it up for the Colts as he just beat Dom DiVincentis cleanly after DiVincentis has had a heck of a game, and he lets that one in.
Yeah, Cooper Matthews, 5th goal of the season, catching Dom DiVincentis, following him across as he shoots across his body. The perfect shot just inside the post, over top of the pad as DiVincentis can't get down there to get a blocker on it. And we're right back at square one with 2:22 left. The score is 2-2, but the shots are 49-32, but that doesn't really count here. It's the ones that get past the goaltenders.
Well, the Battalion, the last time the Colts were here in town, went to overtime against them. Liam Arnsby getting the game-winning goal in that one. And now going the other way is Josh Bloom. Josh Bloom blows a tire on the near side wall, and the Colts get it back out to the neutral zone, getting past Lucan. Quick 2-on-1 developing again. Christopoulos keeps it out. Veerling back to the point. The Colts look for a shot. It didn't get to DiVincentis. And now the puck's back into the Colts zone. Punnett up quickly to Cardwell. Cardwell taken off the puck by Tarasevic. As the Battalion have really let the Colts spread them out. Petrov now carries it into the zone, takes a shot west. And the rebounds are there. The Battalion just can't seem to get to them. Another chance there for Tarasevic. Back to Nelson at the point. Now off that rebound. And his shot goes wide. Hislop goes cross ice for Tarasevic. Can't get it off his skate. Hislop on the near side wall. Gives it to Petrov. Looking for Hislop. Hislop comes in, takes a shot. And it's off the post. Back to Wakely at the point. Wakely takes a shot. It's blocked in front by Jelsma. Minute 10 now left in regulation. Comes back down to the troops and zone. DiVincentis leaves it for Nelson. Nelson gets it up to Tarasevic, who chips it in, so no icing. Officially under a minute now left in this period. Akey over to Frasca. Gets it up to Wakely. Wiggle now, skates it in, takes a shot. DiVincentis gloves that one down, and another stoppage of play. 47.5 seconds here. 2-2, And the Battalion would have really liked to finish this one in regulation considering the point implications.
Yeah, they're finally over the 50-shot mark. The last time they recorded 50 or more shots on home ice was January 2nd, 2020, when they took 55 shots against the Niagara Ice Dogs. But more recently, back on November 26th of this year, they put 50 shots towards the net of the Niagara Ice Dogs at the Ice Dogs Meridian Center down in St. Catharines.
Man, they really like shooting on those Ice Dogs, eh? Romani tries to will himself in, and then he gets a punch to the face. No call coming on that one.
Everyone looking for that call. Quite the interesting development here as it's back to a 2-2 game. Almost identical to what the World Cup showed today, as Argentina winning the World Cup in a shootout over France. Argentina going up 2-0 in the first half, and France responding with a couple of goals to tie things up, forcing that into extra time. So this time taking the same lineup as what that World Cup final did earlier.
Romani stops that puck at the red line. Chips it back in. Frasca on the near side wall. Gets it up quickly to Wiggle. Wiggle. It's his puck back to Frasca. Frasca can't get his shot to go. Van Steensel with one last gasp here for the Battalion. 10 seconds left in regulation. West out to play the puck. And it's going to go back out to the blue line. And now the Colts, and we're going to go to overtime here. Definitely not the result the Battalion were looking for here after Barrie took 2 points last night. They're now going to take 3 out of a possible 4 at the very least here between these two teams.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not the outlook we thought going into this third period, as the Battalion were 14-0-1 entering the third period with a lead. The Barrie Colts, very familiar with overtime, as they are going to overtime for their 12th time this season. They got a 5-3 record ending the game in the overtime, 5 minutes, and then a 1-2 record in shootouts, picking up 17 points in those 12 overtime games. Meanwhile, the Battalion have only gone to overtime 3 times, and one of those ending in regulation, and that was the game here as the Battalion defeated the Barrie Colts, and they've gone to a shootout twice. So something the Barrie Colts are very familiar with. And when you're looking at it, the Battalion on paper seem to have the better players and the better, more skilled performances. And it's key to see who wins that opening face-off. If you can win that opening face-off and maintain pressure, you have the more opportunity to get away with a victory tonight. And also new this year is the long change, as the goaltenders switch ends and will be defending the opposite side. So a long change could be a factor here, as it looks like it's Cardwell, Aki, and Verling to start for the Barrie Colts, up against
Arnsby, Van Steensel, and Christopoulos.
So a different look to start for the North Bay Battalion. They're going with a little bit more of a bulldog atmosphere and a couple of feisty players known for their defensive side of the puck.
So the Battalion in their home whites going left to right, and the Colts in their road blues going right to left in this overtime period. As Christopoulos quickly into the zone. Takes the shot. It's wide of West's net. Arnsby and Van Steensel now, the two forwards out here having to defend, but Christopoulos quickly back into play. Vierling walks in, goes cross ice, takes the shot, and Christopoulos threw himself in front of that one, so the shot never got, but now he looks injured.
Yeah, he got the worst of that one. Looked like he caught it where there's no padding.
Cardwell takes a shot, a hard one, and it's in on DiVincentis. Christopoulos doing his part, though, to really kind of keep that one, because they would have had a sprawling DiVincentis and a good wide open net to shoot at on that one.
Exactly. Now you're going to see the more skilled players come out for the North Bay Battalion. Petrov, Jackson, and Nelson coming out, looking to counter against Frasca, Jelsma, and Punnett. Speed is going to be on the side of the North Bay Battalion in this six-unit player out there right now.
Jelsma takes a shot. DiVincentis gloves that one down. So far, the shots are 2-0 in favor of the Colts in overtime here through the first 43 seconds. But again, as we mentioned, the last time these two teams were here in North Bay, it went to overtime and Arnsby scored that game-winning goal.
Let's see if he can be the hero again tonight as he got the start in the opening face-off. But
Punnett tries to skate it around the zone. Falling, he gets it to Frasca. Frasca gets a backhanded shot away, but DiVincenzo stops that one. Nelson tries to chip the puck up. It's going to be out of the reach of Petrov as Punnett picks it up in his own zone. Punnett gives it away to Petrov. Petrov had to go get it, though, first, and then he goes cross-ice to Jackson. Jackson back to Nelson. Nelson takes the shot, and West kicks that one aside.
First real time that the Battalion had any control of the puck.
Jackson takes the shot, and action. Jackson wins it for the North Bay Battalion as the troops take the overtime victory here against the heated rival Barrie Colts.
Kyle Jackson with his 20th of the season as he hits the 20-goal plateau, and he's going to send the 2,400 in attendance tonight home happy as the Battalion finish off the first half of the season with a 3-2 overtime victory over the visiting Colts, as that was the 53rd shot on goal tonight for the North Bay Battalion.
The Colts teammates skating by the Battalion to go and comfort their goaltender Ben West, who truthfully had himself a heck of a game here in this one, as he stayed down on the ice for a long time after that one. Yeah, he wasn't getting up. You knew that he wanted this one badly.
He'd definitely be in the talk of the 3 stars as he made 50 saves in tonight's contest, keeping the Barrie Colts really in this game, allowing them to come back in the third period with that pair of goals, setting up overtime. But again, the hero here at Memorial Gardens is Kyle Jackson, hitting the 20-goal plateau again this season for the North Bay Battalion.
Jackson hitting the 30-goal plateau last year in very minimal action as he was out for a few months. I think he only played like 40, 50 games last year, but looking very good now for the Battalion this year as you mentioned, he hits that 20-goal plateau once again, as we're going to find out here for sure. He played 45 games and he scored 30 goals, so bit of a sharp shooter there. He's played 32 and 20, so he's a little bit higher on his pace this year than he was last year, but that'll do it for this one. We'll come back with our post-game show here with Derek Lindeman and Ben Long. I'm Courtney Kenny, and since I won't be talking to you before the holidays, enjoy your holidays, and we'll see you on the 28th. But, of course, the front line back in action this Wednesday for the Voodoos against the Cubs, and that'll about do it here for this one. But again, post-game show coming up, though. Don't go away, and we'll be back on the other side of this, so keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindeman, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back to Memorial Gardens, where the North Bay Battalion pull out a 3-2 overtime victory over the Barrie Colts. This is the Frontline post-game show. I'm Derek Lindeman, pleased to be joined by Ben Long. The Battalion entered the third period with a 2-goal lead. The Colts coming with a pair of goals. First one by Verling, his 15th of the season, and then Cooper Matthews tying things up, his 5th of the season, sending the game into overtime, in which Kyle Jackson was the hero, his 20th of the season from Matvey Petrov and Ty Nelson, a minute 21 into the final frame. Final shots on goal saw the North Bay Battalion 52 shots to 36 of the Barrie Colts. Neither team was able to score with the man advantage. That sends us right to the important part of the game, the Dave's Automotive 3 stars of service.
Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
Third star from the Barrie Colts, making 49 saves in the losing effort, was goaltender Ben West. Second star from the North Bay Battalion, number 18, Josh Bloom, 1 goal on the night. And the first star, the hero of the game, none other than North Bay's Kyle Jackson, his 20th of the season, 1 goal tonight, but first star honors. Well, Ben, quite an entertaining game here. 52 shots from the North Bay Battalion. Score should have been a lot higher than what the scoreboard reflected.
I got to say, I feel for West a little bit in this game. You know, he come with a third star, but I mean, he's had some rough numbers coming into tonight. Puts up 50 saves. Come on, guys, can't you put a win for me at least on that one?
Hey, the Colts tried hard. They pushed back. They were down 2 going into the third, and a couple goals in just over. How long did those 2 goals go? Just a minute and 13 seconds separating the 2 goals. Burling first, a shorthanded effort on that 3-on-2, and then Cooper Matthews with the excellent shot. But the overtime marker, what can you say about that shot? Kyle Jackson beating West low to the glove side.
It was one of those perfect shots, right? People talk about the top corner as always the high-priced goal. But, I mean, those ones that are just, 12, 13 inches off the ice, just above the pad, harder to get to with the glove, that's where you want to be shooting at.
And we saw 2 of those. The Cooper Matthews goal, the game-tying one, that was just low blocker. You just can't get down there fast enough with your blocker. And the same in the overtime winner. Ben West couldn't get the glove down there. Kyle Jackson beating him cleanly from just outside the top of the circle. And the Battalion, even though it's only the difference of 1 point, they now have a 9-point lead atop of the Central Division standings.
Yeah, having a 9-point lead is better than having a 7-point lead. So that 1 goal can make a big difference come the end of the year.
Exactly. And the Barrie Colts do have a pair of games in hand. So if you look at those as being 4 points, assuming that the Colts win it, the lead being 5, you still enter the Christmas break with that advantage, and that's right where the North Bay Battalion want to be, is atop of that Central Division.
Yeah, and the other big thing is that you don't want to have a losing streak start going, right? So coming up with this win today puts the end to the losing streak. They're now going into the Christmas break with a W behind them, not 2 losses.
Exactly, and coming out of that break, we're hearing about rumors of possibly Kyle McDonald coming back, possibly getting Avery Winslow back, and we don't know the extent of the injuries with Bruskowski or with newly acquired Pasquale Zito, so there's some interesting things happening in the new year. This team is going to be ready to make a deep run in the playoffs, especially if they can get players back off of their injured list.
Yeah, we saw, like today, it was Terrian and Bouchard that were both kind of splitting ice time, getting a little bit on that bottom line there. But if all the players were healthy, they're not even in the lineup, I don't think, because we have Zito, and
McDonald
back in, who are going to be taking up top two-line spots.
And you got to give time to your first round draft pick, Ethan Procession.
Yep.
He deserves some time out there. He's going to be the leader of the future. You can't have him sitting up game in and game out up in the stands with the people in attendance.
No, and he's been playing well. He seems to handle himself pretty well in the defensive end. I haven't noticed any big gaffes there. He's a big body, so he throws the hits around. He took a penalty tonight, but usually he's pretty clean in his play. And he got a goal, right?
Yeah, third of the season. Ethan Procession getting that second goal, even though it was gift-wrapped it with a little bit of tinsel on it from Owen Van Steensel. So that was quite the experience.
But you know what? He did have to rush in to get there. If he was a slower player, the other guy would have beat him to the puck.
And it would have been an icing call.
Yeah.
So he forced Ben West to play that puck, which created the opportunity. So something that we're hoping that we get to see more of as Ethan's Procession's game is going to develop in the new year. And the more ice time he gets, the more comfortable he's going to get playing alongside. Even though it's limited minutes, he's deserving of his ice time for the North Bay Battalion.
Yeah, and one interesting thing that we saw out there a couple times, I noticed it, and you don't see it a whole lot, is there was 5 battalion rookies on the ice at a time. You don't see that very often.
Not like we did last year. We saw it all the time last year.
But that's not common in this league, right? You like to have a couple guys who've been out. And with last year, some of them were rookies, but they were guys who would have been second-year players had we not had a canceled season.
Yeah, but there wasn't that true rookies this year either for the North Bay Battalion other than Procession. So
Procession, Turley, and Tarian are all true rookies.
They got ice time last year.
No, they didn't. They just got drafted this year. All 3 of them were drafted.
But still.
Bouchard and Kennedy both got a little bit of ice time last year.
So even with that, Turley didn't get much action today. He was, I don't know if he got benched or just wasn't feeling his best. Didn't see him much out there as the battalion went down to 5D for most of the second and the third period. And you know what? It was quite the entertaining game for all 2,400 plus here on hand at Memorial Gardens.
Yeah, and I think part of what happens there is you want to give your rookies some ice time, get them some practice out there, but you have other guys who need more ice time as well, like other guys who are deserving a lot of ice time, and that's got to come from somewhere. Lucan's really stepped up his game this year. I've been really impressed with his defensive play, but also his contributions in the offensive end. His lobs come in and shown that he's deserving of lots of ice time. Christopoulos' offensive end's been up this year, and he's been pretty solid defensively, and Kennedy's really stepped up as well, too. So, I mean, if all these guys are pushing and deserving more ice time, it has to come from somewhere.
Exactly. So with that, the first part of the 2022-2023 season comes to a close as the North Bay come away with their 22nd win of the season to go along with 9 losses and a shootout loss as they enter the break in first place of the Central Division, 9 points over the Barrie Colts. The next action on the front line for the North Bay Battalion will be on Wednesday, the 28th of December, as the Sudbury Wolves will be in town to take on the Battalion, and then the Battalion will be on the road Friday evening to take on the same Sudbury Wolves, and then they'll end the calendar season with a 1 o'clock game against the Oshawa Generals on New Year's Eve. That will kick off the Family First activities here in North Bay. So quite a look ahead here after the 8 days off for the Christmas break. Ben.
And just throw in there, if you're, jonesing for some hockey in this time here without the Battalion, this coming Wednesday, we do have a Voodoo's game that we're going to be airing on our YouTube channel, and we do get video of the game on there, so you can actually watch some good hockey, see
and
some of the future players. Yeah, me and you will be on that one.
It's the Derek Ben Show.
Yeah, that's what we do around here. We carry the weight.
We carry the weight, and you know what? It's been great here in the fall of 2022. I want to say a big thanks to everyone that listens to us here on the Frontline broadcast, the Frontline podcast. We're up to new things coming up in the new year. We're setting up a Patreon account and just getting things set up for an exciting finish to not only just the Battalion hockey, Voodoo's hockey, and also the U18 Trappers, in which we cover. You can see all of that action on the Frontline YouTube channel. One last time, for Ben Long, Courtney Kenny, Matt Sukram, who wasn't with us today, and all the rest that help out making the Frontline broadcast what it is, I'm Derek Lindeman. Have yourself a happy holidays and all the best throughout this exciting time period. So long from Memorial Gardens.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road. Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.